Why was I linked this? Never thought I'd be listening to Hassan on Twitch. He's actually more agreeable than I thought he would be. Oh. Is this a bot? I was about to turn 30 on July 2021, gained a lot of fat and lost all my muscle mass during COVID. I was 285 and depressed. Took me 3 years of being active, blah, blah, blah. Loved both versions of you, space period. More important that you're happy with yourself, space exclamation mark. This was 2 years ago. But now suddenly today they're like, have you been in talks with Rose at all? Has she left the online space forever? I don't know. I've never gotten to have a talk with this person in my life. I messaged this person one time on Facebook. And then I think they either blocked me or they blocked me and deleted their account. I also like, despite the fact that I turned over every single conversation I had between me and the guy running that account to Pixie's legal team, enough so that she could apparently report me to the fucking police, she said. Didn't report the solo guy, by the way. Good job, Pixie. People still run with these crazy theories. This is that lawyer guy, the esports Batman dude who wants to be an anonymous account online. There seems to be an acknowledgement on both sides that Solo was sex trafficking Rose. The debate is whether or not Destiny knew this at the time and was a participating party that was supporting it. Who the fuck is debating that? Keep in mind that in all the pedo jacketing and all the slander and all everything else, Pixie's side hasn't had a shred of evidence to even remotely support this, like the craziest, wackiest fucking conspiracy theory. Like, what the fuck? But what are you going to do? Dude, this ICO rules person is actually fucking deranged. Yeah, a lot of these people are really weird. And normally it wouldn't matter. But, yeah, they've just been weaponized so much by, like, Hassan and shit. It's just so crazy that he's managed to pipeline these people's crazy conspiracies up to the mainstream to use it to attack, I guess, like me, yeah. Oh, liked by Hassan. Streamed 1 day ago. Jesus Christ. Stardust defends Destiny's sex crimes. I don't even know this person. I think I've talked to this person. They used to be on panels like 5 years ago. But like, the issue now is that Stardust was tweeting a bit, and then I retweeted Stardust, so now she has to be like attacked again and marked for deletion, right? You're seeing she got full doxed in a place, and then people are going. But this is just how all these people operate. And then it's just so frustrating to me that people like Connor be like, well, I haven't seen any smoking gun evidence that any of this is happening.
Literally, Chud could literally rape Stardust and Destiny would not give a fuck. Let's be honest. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me you disagree. What?
This one was like 40 years old, like covering this type of stuff. 24/7. Destiny, she would come out of Hutch's chat freaking the fuck out when he just considered talking to you.
I just said, Chud Logic could literally rape Stardust and Destiny would not care. Right? Why would Destiny care? Like, anyone from DGG could rape Stardust. Destiny, would he kick them out of the community? No, who cares? Why? It's Stardust.
She streams almost every day for 5 hours to pretty much no one. Very weird thing to say. All of these people are also, not that it matters. I mean, I guess it would matter, but nobody cares. It's like, these people are like super racist, very like weirdly sexist, bigoted, like very, very, very weird, crazy shit. There was a guy that used to send me stuff, or still sends me stuff sometimes. The Kingler guy, who, when they found out in Just Heal server, because I think I fucked up and I leaked that he sent me a DM once or whatever.
At least Destiny's rich. At least he can take care of his kids' material needs. What does Kingler have? Kingler, donate 50 subs right now, and I'll never talk to you about your kid ever again. Prove to me that you take care of your kid in a material sense, and I will never talk about you or your father ability again. 50 subs, and we get a truce. Otherwise, get fucked.
Like, this is the guy who's the head of these communities who tries to stay clean. Like, imagine if he's comfortable acting like this publicly. Like, what the rest of the people behind closed doors who aren't even him are doing. Like, it's just so crazy that these people, it's just all these people are so insane.
Is that what it is? Okay, this guy is like a there's like two things going on here, okay?
Oh, so Kingler made a post on my subreddit about this.
I know this guy gets incredibly annoyed when I make fun of him for being a bad father, okay? And if I had any idea his kids would see it, they haven't, by the way, but if I thought his kids would see it, I wouldn't say those things.
I love how they try to like salvage some virtue from the situation here, but okay.
It's like my policy with Destiny. But like this guy, I think he was like reporting on people in the Discord and sending it all to Destiny. He was a psychotic, mentally ill, manic doxer. And then
Wait, hold on, just as a quick thing, because I see my best friend tweeting. I actually changed my opinion on this when Destiny doxed somebody merely for discussing his case and threatened to dox anybody in my Discord. If a much larger creator is explicitly threatening my friends and community, should I just allow this? Now remember, the only thing that I'm asking for these people to leave me the fuck alone is to stop stalking, A-logging, and harassing every single person in my personal life. That's the only request I have. Can you just like not, like, if you want to talk shit about my political takes, if you want to talk shit about my shit or whatever, if you, my court case materials, fine. But it's the relentless stalking, doxing, A-logging, harassing.
And the psychotic, mentally ill, manic doxer dox people based on the screenshots this guy was sending him. Oh, this actually perfectly works. This is a perfect analogy. Essentially, these people need to understand that you are like trying to cause a reaction. You are intentionally sending certain information to somebody to cause a reaction. And then when you get that reaction, you go, oh my god, how, what, huh? So Kingler was sending stuff to Destiny that was basically painting certain people like a certain way.
What does that mean? Notice how they always skip over the details. He was sending stuff to Destiny that was painting certain people a certain way. What was he sending me that you were so upset that I was seeing? Notice how he never says that.
And Destiny doxed, right? And so I blame him for that, and I say, like, you're a terrible person, and if you had anything better to do with your life, like, raise your kids, then you wouldn't be involved in these streams. You wouldn't be watching them. You wouldn't be going to debate. You wouldn't take it so seriously. And that really irritates him. That really irritates him, okay? And so what did I say here? Is this technically me blackmailing? At least Destiny's rich. At least he can take care of his kids' material needs. What does Kingler have? Kingler, donate 50 subs right now, and I'll never talk to you about your kid ever again. Prove to me that you take care of your kid in a material sense, and I will never talk about you or your fatherability again. 50 subs. And we get a truce. Otherwise, get fucked. Okay. So he posts that, and he's like, hey, is this like him blackmailing me? Now, I have no idea what Kingler's relationship with this kid is. I just assume if you spend this much time in online spaces while having children, that's probably not a good sign. You know what I mean? Like this much that he doesn't like me, he hates me, he's banned from my community. That he like watches every stream and then reports back in DGG about the streams or sends Destiny messages about what I talked about on stream.
Meanwhile, how many times in the past could I just bring up anything related to these guys and their whole Discord lights up chatting about me and I could like send screenshots? They're probably chatting about me right now, like every single fucking time.
Like that level of involvement with kids, like young kids, is probably not good for you, right?
Young kids.
You know what I mean? So, in any case, that's why I don't like him and what was going on here. If he gifted me 50 subs, I would not have stopped talking about him, by the way. But I kind of thought about it today. And I don't want to be... I need to not be Ethan Klein. You know what I mean? Like somebody was like a loser around me and I'm just going to like torture them forever? No. No. Ew. Is it? Is that what it is? Okay, this guy...
Pretty wacky. Wait, one more thing. Sorry.
As far as I know, I've argued on stream with him more than any other chatter, but I could be wrong on that. Despite my openness about a lack of formal education or expertise and willingness to be wrong, JTOX, but every time you were wrong, you reset. Every single time you were wrong, you reset.
This is him talking about Kingler? Also, how crazy is to spend so much time talking about like a random mutual fan other than because he's trying to make the... Yeah.
And just had the same opinion.
Hold on.
Again. This is so stupid, but whatever. Okay. Here's one of JTOX mods expressing something similar about him being nice or something. Okay. I think it was before the leaking to Destiny. At some point, Destiny accidentally leaks. Thanks, Destiny. That I had sent him a log from JTOX public Discord, and JTOX instantly permabanned me without making a single inquiry. I don't even know if I banned him. He might have gotten banned before I did. I think people found this out, that he was leaking stuff to Destiny. This log was used by Destiny in a tweet referencing a certain person who frequents JTOX Discord. Well, doxing them. You were... Like, he spurred out and doxed further.
Spurred out.
Right? The log contains 0 personal information. It was an answer to a legal question I had regarding Destiny's ongoing case. It doesn't matter if it had zero personal information. You are continuously sending stuff to this guy who is agitated and doxing people in this Discord. You are a psycho. You are a total fucking psycho. Anyway, so, by the way, also, if you're intentionally, like, communicating stuff to Destiny and putting a target on people's back, yeah, of course you're going to get banned. Like, what is the confusing thing?
Like, they never talk about why. Like, why are people getting targets on their back? Am I really just seeing random people chatting? And I'm like, God, I hate all these people. Like, is that really what they believe? I don't know what his fans actually believe. I'm not sure, or how many of them are, like, kind of complicit in kind of the doing the intentional lying.
However, most people in that circle hold me partially responsible, and I think that's fair.
Oh, somebody did send me a thing. Oh, they are watching. Here you go. This guy is so dishonest. He's reading the Kingler post. He's pretending it's a big deal. Libfeo. There's eSports Batman. Wait, is he accusing me of being wrong or something? You're not even wrong, because you're not even making a strong claim. You're just like putting out like well, some people think that. Nobody thinks this. There's not a single person involved at any point in this court case that thinks that I had any knowledge that this roast person was not the person I was talking to. No, nobody has thought that. Just you guys. That's just you guys like fantasizing about this because you're so fucking horny to get me as being like a fucking pedophile, rapist, sex trafficker or whatever. Like, that's it. That Officer Nasty person is one of the Jew stalker pets in Connor's chat every day. Oh, nice. Paste. Okay.
Yes. Since then, JTOX has taken every opportunity when addressing me to invoke my family as a means to get under my skin. I invoke your inability to support your family. I don't think there's anything wrong with your kids.
King.
Okay. Despite him having a policy of not bringing in non-involved parties like Connor's kids, Hutch's sister, or even Now, I will listen to a satirical piece about Hutch's sister, especially given how these people are trying to lean into this, right? But you're right. In a serious sense, I don't think, like, obviously Hutch's sister is not something that means...
Okay. I'm just going to run through this one time. I don't know if I've ever showed it, like, in more context before, okay? But I'm so sorry. It's just, like, I will just never get over this, okay? So, this is in a publicly accessible Discord channel, okay? This is the Gistical E-Rape Defense Squad channel, okay? So this is where they would talk about my court case. This is like anybody can go in and have a debate with them, okay? When I talk about the sapiosexual guy, okay? So this was the chatting, okay, when they were able to get this Rose person basically to force her to join a deposition for my case because they thought they were going to out me as like a pedophile or whatever the fuck else, right? Wait, Saba, you've spoken to Rose? And not solo, laughing. Private server, it sure would be a shame if all my emails to her are saved. So he like is bragging. This is in their Discord server. Everybody knows this. This is him bragging about harassing this young girl and her family until she joins my case and collaborating with Joanne the whole time. By the way, Joanne didn't produce any of these emails to me in Discovery, which I'm fucking owed. She didn't, okay? Because she's also complicit with Pixie and the hiding and the lying and all the other bullshit, and she can bring this up at our next talk if she wants to. She loves to bring up how personally slighted she is. This is the first email that he sent to Rose. They try to they try to say that like, oh, he's just being nice, right? As an olive branch, I will link you to things that I'm not certain that QB Farms has found, so you can try to get the poster to take it down. Here is photos. Chad Britt has uploaded multiple images of you across multiple albums. I will link the relevant albums. I didn't check any further, but you would know if he took more images for him to take down. Also, as a tip, I would check the permissions on your Facebook profile, specifically the friends and follow list. Other than that, keep your profiles private for a few months at a minimum. Hopefully, things pass. Let's see. Where is this message from? How did he have access to that? Look carefully, because this is Sapiosexual, the guy emailing her, okay? Portable document file format, solidarity in it. And then this is him emailing her again. I've seen that you've been taking down your profiles and getting yourself removed from the public. Good job. There are still images on this album. The following news articles have either a video of you or your name. And there are archives of your older Twitter account that contain CSAM. Email here to get it taken down. You will need to provide each link in the emails to get them and take it down. I don't have experience of getting stuff taken down from the aggregate sites, but I believe there are services that you can use to get it removed. Let me know if you need any more assistance. I've tried to follow up on getting archived to take down the pages, but to no avail. They did, however, say that you can get them removed as the account owner for privacy concerns. This is the email you should contact, and these are the links that you should ask to be removed. And then this is him trying to get some of it taken down. I don't think she replied to any of these emails, by the way. Damn, that CSAM is still there, by the way. They haven't taken it down yet. And then he sends, oh, these are more for him trying to get that stuff taken down. How unhinged and disgusting of me to provide counter evidence. I'm hiding the more harassing emails. Actually true. So he's not even showing all of his emails. So what has Tiny done to stop the spread of CSAM? Oh, this is some email that was posted saying that I had a group of 10 people on Discord where we were all trying to find rows and we were trading CSAM with each other. And then he's posting this as proof that I haven't done anything to get anything removed from the internet. It's like, he didn't. I was memeing about that. I did email Brettler, though. So this is Seba emailing my lawyer with the Willie Mac logs saying, are you aware that your client, Stephen Bonnell, is in possession of CSAM? More importantly, are you aware that he's doing this under the advice of his lawyer? I'm going to assume that this is you. So I'm guessing they were trying to get my law firm to drop me? 8 gigachads. My last email to her, she had stopped responding, plus taking down her profiles before this. Oh, the request. Request to connect with Joan Peters. Hello, I've been trying to reach out to you to connect you with a law firm involved in a case against Stephen Bonnell II, also known as Destiny. I contacted you from a different email, but you stopped responding. They currently just want to know 2 things, whether you were in the USA or Europe on April 10th, 2022, and the same for October 4th, 2022, because they were trying to save their subject matter jurisdiction arguments with the logs leaked. They also want details regarding Solo, but that is less urgent at the moment because they don't give a fuck about finding the actual trafficker dude. They just really want to nail me on this court case. This isn't a ploy to trap you or to expose you to further harassment. A recent court order was granted which will protect your identity from the public, and the defendant is restricted from sharing any information found during discovery. I have continued to try and get social media posts and profiles of yours taken down as a show of good faith and to reduce risk for yourself. I hope you will cooperate. And if you do, please contact petersjoan@bellsouth.net. I'm just helping you. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm just helping you, just as a show of good faith. I'm extending an olive branch. I mean, I did do a wee bit of harassing. This is all of the emails back and forth. I don't know who the A is. Maybe that's her, I guess. These were mostly just forwards for different places to her, though. And then this is him spamming her email account, I think, over and over and over again because she wasn't responding. This is the closest to harassing I ever came, but they were all off of one email. I've been trying to get a hold of your daughter. It is important that she gets in contact with Joan Peters. Keep in mind that, like, if this girl had gone through, like, what she apparently had gone through and she didn't tell her parents this or they had no idea, like, there's a very real chance, and I know it seems like I'm exaggerating, but I'm really not, and if you think I am, fuck you and literally jump off a balcony, right? Like, this girl could have killed herself. Like, imagine if you managed to get through all of this crazy shit with this unhinged fucking guy overseas and you finally broke it away from it, and now you've got this guy who's now emailing your family members across multiple accounts. Assistance for investigation. I'm aware that you're fairly close to the girl. I'm not prying for any information about her. I've been trying to get a hold of your sister. It's important that she gets in contact with Joan Peters, probably. I've been trying to get a hold of your daughter. It's important that she gets in contact with. I've been trying to get a hold of your daughter, right? So at the very least, emailed a friend, a sibling, and then both parents. Supreme is here giving him advice on, oh, dog, why didn't you pick a different email? Probably because it kind of looks weird that you're messaging like a victim with a Seba sexual name. But if you're curious why I hate Supreme, it's because he also stood by and basically, was kind of thought this was all epic and was thumbs upping the whole activity. I know the name is unfortunate. It's not like my other emails any better, to be fair. Why didn't Destiny ever try to get any of these things removed? Yeah, curious. Maywand is that Maywand, by the way, this person right here, you want to talk about feeling schizophrenic? You remember who this is, right? Fuck. What was the website with the crazy, the tomfoolery archive? Fuck. What was the name of the site? Does anybody remember? The person who had the entire investigation into tomfoolery and did all the We were listening to her read through. That's her, by the way. She was a part of this server and probably still is. True, also, by the way, in chat. By the way, this is the behavior that Doe said she was deathly afraid and would kill herself if it happened to her. And Doe, by the way, Pixie, explicitly greenlit all of this because Joan was in contact with Sabasexual, and Joan was functioning on Pixie's behalf in order to drag Rose into the deposition. And remember, Pixie and Lauren, because they both knew, were running around behind the scenes who were so horny when they found out that Rose Girl was 17. They were DMing everybody like, oh, Destiny's about to be out as a pedophile. Get ready. Be careful. Destiny's about to be out as a pedophile. And remember, Pixie got to do her big Yas Queen moment when she tweeted out, he knew that was about me, right? That I knew the whole time or some bullshit. Sorry, just real quick. That my one person in here, this person right here, was the person who made this website. Did we listen to some of this? We listened to like 20 minutes of it. I still don't know what the fuck this is all about. The sad thing is too, I don't think any of this is AI. I think she hand wrote all of this. This person is fucking insane, but you've spoken to Queen Joan? Did I lie? And then this is from months earlier. Listen, me and Joan are on a first name basis. I mean, most of his fan base is basically YouTube viewers, not stream viewers, but the videos, so they have no idea about most of it. Isn't DGG chat still pretty active? Yeah, but they aren't the majority of his audience. They're fairly isolated. Do DGGers even believe Destiny when he says shit like De Laguna has not? I don't know 100% what these messages are, but they only remember the last thing that he told them. No, yes. Why would that be in an email to do with this case? Why send one email when you could charge for two? He also said plaintiff turned nothing over, but also turned over thousands of individual messages. The plaintiff turned over, I think, 2,000 quote-unquote documents, but it was just a group chat that we had. It was 2,000 messages from a group chat with me and like 6 other people. That's it. So the 2,000 documents turned over, every single one is an individual message. What was this? Oh, no. Okay. Oh, fuck. This doesn't even have the other... He posted screenshots of also him talking to Joan and then Joan telling him to get her involved in the court case. So this isn't even all of it. But yeah. But like, this is in their public... This is like an open public channel, right? So they all see this. They all talk about this. They all know this is... It's just like... And then it's annoying because I don't know how do I talk about this? Like, obviously it sounds schizo and fucking crazy, but like, it's like, it's not like I can just ignore these people. They're literally physically involving themselves in my court case and harassing people, so many people around me, even people that I don't talk to. It's just like, yeah. Are you going to make a video essay style hit piece with manifesto? Yeah, I will. Yeah. Yeah. Do you think they're just suffering from sunk cost fallacy? Like they probably thought they were going to get fucked from the case and now they're just keeping, or you were going to get fucked and now they're just keeping it up. Well, I mean, like it still benefits them to do it, right? They can still spread whatever rumors or misinformations or whatever about me. Yeah. Illuminator, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Destiny, important meme. Didn't yesterday just show evidence that defendant had access to that room? Shouldn't that have been in discovery then? Probably, but it doesn't matter. They didn't cooperate with almost anything of our requests, but we don't have a countersuit before them, so it's not like, I don't know. Casey Tron fighting with Hutch. You being a Destiny brown noser for years and now crying about getting lumped in with him. Man, all the sirens are blaring. Get all the troops of Gondor or whatever the fuck. Destiny, if I recall, there were people in there criticizing Saba for doing it, right? There might have been a couple, but anybody that is critical of their narrative of fighting against the concept of like total Destiny death or whatever, they end up getting banned from that community. That's why I have people that end up leaking stuff to me, because as the community becomes more and more unhinged, some people are just like, this is like, I don't know if I'm on board with this anymore. And then these are the people that end up shooting me screenshots and stuff. is this?
Of us as a community. We're not. We have our own little... I have heavy layover. Stop thinking of us as a community. We're not. We have our own little... I have heavy layover requirement, to be fair. But I want to do my own thing and my own thing, right? But we all, from different communities, have united around a common cause. And I heard Queeman say it privately, and I'm pretty sure he probably said it again today on stream. We're not going to agree on everything. I've had to put differences aside with people I legitimately believe lied about me. People that at one point wished the worst for me. We're going to disagree politically. We're going to disagree in terms of edginess, how edgy certain people are. We're going to disagree on literally we could disagree on everything. But we are going against an uncharged sex criminal running a community that is mass disseminating lies in an attempt to ruin people's lives and obfuscate his offenses, his crimes, and his wrongdoing.
Like, all my court filings are public. Every single part of my case is out there. The plaintiff has a single witness who has disappeared from the public life, who will not respond to subpoena or deposition, who, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw this, by the way, epic, by the way, Abby was thrown onto my case the day before our hearing for a preliminary injunction, because I think they were worried that the case would get tossed because it was so weak. She was thrown on the day before and then vanished for months and months and months. They kept saying, oh, we don't know. We don't have contact information. We don't know. The day after I give my deposition, suddenly Abby's turned up again to submit another affidavit, adding a couple points on to try to save their case from the subject matter jurisdiction complaint. Now that discovery is closed, by the way. Like, that Marwan lady had an MP3 titled "A Letter to DGG" on her website. Ripped it for you if you're still interested. Bruh. How long is this? 8 minutes?
A letter to DGG. The amusing part of Tom using socks to post in the subreddit is at anything. I've never debating so much as I am interested in conversation and usually keen to provide evidence from an academic standpoint about how I arrived at a position. So I started sharing papers and things like that with Tom when he was wrong. Or
this woman is severely not okay. Jesus. Is this the girl who kept accusing people of rape in every community? No, that girl's Australian. She's also crazy, but I don't know if she's involved in any online shit anymore.
So put your fucking differences aside. Lock in. That's what I'm doing, and I know you're capable of it. And let's get ready.
Wait, so they managed to find the girl that got extorted by that bonger dipshit and depose her, but they can't manage to get Abby for a deposition? No, but the reason why is because, like I said, I'm pretty sure that I think Joanne and possibly Gisticle threatened or bullied Abby into joining the court case because of that bullshit DM she sent to Sognick like 3 years ago, where she was just talking shit, pretending like I'd sent her fucking videos of Pixie. But I just didn't. There's no way. There's a reason why she has no evidence of this at all, and there is no evidence of this at all. And the only way they can attack my case is to say that all of my evidence is fake and all of my logs are faked. But I think Gisticle and Joanne bullied her because I think we also dropped that in our last filing, or our second to last filing, that Abby even told me in DMs a few months ago, she was like, dude, I got to get the fuck out of this court case. The legal team is crazy. These people are incompetent. I don't even want to be involved in this. But
And let's get ready for war. I mean,
it's just crazy that this guy is like, guys, Destiny is attacking us. Insert 20 false malicious claims. And he's doing it by making up false and malicious claims about us. The only thing, okay, that I've ever fucking wanted is just for these people to not stalk and harass people around me, to not hyperfixate on my like private life, to try to find people and then destroy them. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I've ever wanted. I don't care if they talk about my politics or whatever, roast me or any other bullshit. What are you going to do? What is actually known about the original DM's leaker? Who's the original DM's leaker? Oh, the solo guy? I mean, I think I have his first and last name, but it's just a matter of whether or not, like, I can't, there's a whole ass other court case that I have to pursue after this Pixie one, but I don't have the money or the psychological bandwidth to do, like, 2 of these at the same time. Like, on top of, like, everything else, like, it's just way too much. I had I don't know if I've ever shown these on stream before. It's just so much, bro. This was like a year and a half ago. People that I had even been loosely associated with on social media, like had followed at some point. Like there were people that were messaging these people and harassing these people. I don't know if I've ever gone over these. There's just so much shit. Like I said, I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing for whatever. But like this guy was just messaging this girl that I'd never even seen this girl in real life before. They are yours and blah, 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 are going to see them on the Destiny thread on Kiwi Farms. I don't have to send them, just send the DMs. What DMs? It's normal convos. There isn't much else there. I'm going to report you, like, actually to the cops. I don't mean Instagram. Doesn't matter. There's a lot more than normal conversations. No point in lying about it. You don't have to be involved unless you want to be involved, unless you send me everything, videos and pictures. I guess everybody had convinced themselves that I'd sent videos of Pixie to every person I'd ever associated with on social media. So every person that I had ever been involved with on social media was getting guys like this in their DMs, threatening them to, like, destroy these people's lives. These are normies, by the way. Like this friend that is her right here. This is like a normie friend. Send those now. No one can help you. Just send them, and it's done with. I'm gonna post your nudes with him on Kiwi Farms and 4chan after they're sent to your family. I'm not sending anything. Those aren't my. I've never even seen this person in real life. There are no nudes of us, right? They are yours, and everyone's gonna see them on the Destiny thread on Kiwi. It's just like, yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. A lot of people. A lot of harassment. Is Sabasexual the guy doing stuff like this too? Who knows, you know? Hey, are you going to send those? Send those now. No one can help you. Ugh. It's just like... Pixie was DMing girls that I'd followed saying that, like, she was suing me and she really wanted them to come forward and blah, blah, blah. Like, some of them sent stuff like... And now these guys are like, we're under attack, guys. We all need to unite. Who is the one sending those messages? They're always just random accounts on Instagram. Random no-name accounts, 0 followers, 0 whatever accounts.
Literally, we could disagree on everything, but we are going against an uncharged sex criminal running a community that is mass disseminating lies in an attempt to ruin people's lives and obfuscate his offenses, his crimes, and his wrongdoing. So, put your fucking differences aside, lock in. That's what I'm doing, and I know you're capable of it. And let's get ready for war. I mean, what can you say?
This was when this friend messaged me about this. Just one person who's messaged me about this. This wasn't even in the DMs between her and the other weirdo stalker guy. I know it's not your fault, but it's getting crazy. I've been blocking these accounts usually. I don't know if it's the same person, but they keep making new accounts saying they're going to send my family and leak my nudes, which aren't even mine. But they called my work and emailed them, and I was fired for it. It's getting so out of hand. Oh my fucking God. I can unfollow you. It's okay. LOL. I haven't been able to follow anyone new on my social media in over a year because people go insane about harassing people that they see me following. I know, and that's fine. But now they are harassing the fuck out of me, and I'm not really sure how to go about it. It's gotten to the point where I lost my job, which is heavily affecting my living situation. Now they are sending me pics of my family's Facebook account saying they're going to send it to them too. I had to wipe my old Insta because they were messaging me there too. Now it's just out of control. Are they only referencing me? Are there people that you've had any interaction with before? No, it's just... When I see people, I'm sorry, fuck. When I see people like Connor, it's like, well, I haven't seen the smoking gun. It's just actually just so fucking, I just hate how fucking weak all these people are. Holy shit. And then I see people like Hassan and everybody complaining that they get harassed online because they get called a terrorist. I'm like, bruh. I don't know, man. What are you going to do? Okay. Are we done victim slapping? Queeman being a schizo again. A lot of people like Connor who don't know shit still want to talk about it. I mean, like, because he gets fed information by all these other people. And remember, the one thing that is like always my biggest weakness is like people who are willing to just sit here and do this all fucking day. So Gisticle is talking to him all day. Queeman is probably talking all day. Doobie is donating thousands of dollars to his stream to talk to him. Pisco, it maybe secondarily might be because he gets mind fucked by all these people. And like all of these people are just spending so much time working on all this shit. Destiny, that Officer Nasty dude is a mod? Is a mod of who? Of Connor's? Oh, Officer Nasty 70. Who? What DMs? What did he say that why don't I like this guy? I don't even remember which one he was. I'm sure you've been told this, but Doobie in Wix server Gen Chat saying you're being dishonest about the server you talked about. Good for him. Yeah, you can go donate another $5,000 to Wick to chat about it, because I'll never chat with me about it. He was in one of those Discord logs. Oh, part of Justicle's community. Yeah. Officer Nasty was in LUS's stream talking mad shit. He's a regular there, Destiny. Oh, yeah. I just don't have the time. I can't play, and I don't have like these back rooms these guys do to play the games all day. I just can't understand it. No, I do understand it. I shouldn't say that. It's just very boring to me. Like, I could never do this level of like gossipy shit. I guess I don't have the mind for it. You need to be more heavy-handed with your circle, I think. I know you're currently against this, but you should. Someone like Pisco should know better. I mean, like, I have been, I think. Like, if people's fan bases are unhinged towards me, like, I just view that as like a mark against their character. But the issue is just like, the issue is that it just doesn't matter. Because nobody is, nobody, yeah, I don't know what to say. There's never enough that you can show these people. It's like somebody just said, Destiny, I might be retarded, but if you have more evidence, like the text you just showed, that people in real life are being harassed constantly about this stuff and suffering real world damages like being fired, why not single that piece out as a precursor to the full manifesto so people know more about it? Because nobody cares. Because you'll have people like Connor saying things like, I need to see a smoking gun that Gisticle or Queeman are involved in this, or I need to see some absolute evidence that Doobie himself is like saying, and like these people aren't retarded. Like, it's never going to be like that. So then, like, these guys will always be giving them a free pass for it because there's never going to be that type of thing. And then you're always just like, okay, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Okay. What do they want so desperately to destroy you? Because I'm against their Hassan daddy. And because of some weird personal shit against me. Probably Laura De Laguna drives a lot of it, and then a lot of it can function organically as part of this weird snark left thing. I mean, like I said, like there's a reason why they avoid having the conversation with me, and then whenever they do have a conversation with me, they fall apart immediately, right? It was just crazy to me that Chud Logic was just so confident, saying like, you've been pumping me full of DG narratives for years. And then it was like, what narrative? Really? Can you think of any? And then, and he's like, yes. And I'm like, which one? And he's like, well, I can't think of any of them. It's like, okay, bro. Check out that Officer Nasty guy's Twitter account. He's in the Snarker Discord for sure. Oh, nice. Holy gigantic pussy energy. Hutchinson blown the fuck out when no one answers. When no answers left resorts to blocking and running. He's going to find those screenshots of me being in a doxing Discord any second. He definitely didn't just make something up because his asshole's blown open. If you have to dig back years to find condemnable behavior in someone you are intending to smear, that's probably a good sign they've grown as a person and that your motives are malicious. The rats are starved of cheese and desperately hunting for scraps. Why does Chud call you my former master? Was it really that bad? Like, it sounds crazy saying this, but like part of the narrative that they developed about me was that I have a, remember Mr. Girl, link the Mr. Girl picture actually. Fuck it, that describes everything. Or the, where's the Mr. Girl picture? Oh, Sabasexual was in here. Very nice. And then I see Officer Nasty. What did I lie about? What did I lie about? I'm not an underage girl. You definitely don't think I'm cute. What did I lie about? What did I lie about? Oh, this branch guy was a friend of his too. Look at how they can't answer a single question. Moving the goalposts and attempting to gaslight. You got quad out, bucko. Take the L. Oh, no, wait. This guy might have been attacking Officer Nasty. Never mind. I think. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm fucking retarded. That's the name that he's replying to. Okay. And then he's replying, what did I lie about? I see. Oh, yeah, this. The meme was that I was like, I controlled every single one of my orbiters. I ruled them all with an iron fist and told them what they had to say and what they were allowed to say and how their opinions were and everything. And so for Chud Logic, is he in here? Is that Chud right here? I was his master. It's just like the evidence for this, non-existent, nothing, not a single thing, of course, but scroll, there's more. Oh, who the fuck is Abby MC? Did he have Abby's consent to share her videos with other people? Who's like nobody? She's not even. That's not even her part of the court case right now. But Saba and them, they carry these talking points from their Discord. He's 100% confident the expert is wrong. That's why he doesn't need to hire his own clown face. I don't even think these guys defend the expert witness stuff. Oh, and they love this talking point. Remember how confident he was that the case was going to get thrown out after 2 weeks? I actually let myself get gaslit into this talking point. My assumption was always early on, I imagine it'll be tossed because they have no evidence. But then like these guys morphed that into like me confidently asserting that the case will definitely be gone in 2 weeks. But I actually don't think I ever even made a statement that strong because whenever they link, they've got this picture with like 9 different quotes to me where it's like, well, hopefully it's gone in a couple of weeks. Hopefully they dismiss it or whatever. But apparently, yeah, I don't know. It's fucking retarded. What are you going to do? Okay. Are we done with this? I say, are we done with this? And then they're going to spend the next like 3 days workshopping all of their new talking points again. Good memes. Oh, Officer Nasty 70 is in my chat right now. One of the cult members. Isn't the MSJ still like the earliest moment the case could be dismissed? Like, it's only taken so long because they expand motions of the judge hasn't ruled on MSJ. Well, theoretically, I could have done a motion to dismiss, but the problem is Pixie put a bunch of false evidence in the complaint. And in the complaint, you're supposed to assume everything is true. Like in the complaint, she said that there were 15 women that were going to come forward. She said that somebody had DM'd her saying that that person's sister had gotten a video of her for me a few months ago. Like they put a bunch of lies. None of this materialized, by the way. But she put a bunch of lies in the complaint, so it wouldn't have gotten dismissed on the motion to dismiss. So then you have to wait for a motion for summary judgment. But that doesn't happen until the end of discovery, which is like a fucking year in or whatever bullshit. So. What are you gonna do? Read the last image. Which, this one? Oh, all of the legal arguments that they're trying to use that I can't believe that I'm in a court case against Kiwi Farms and Justiclers with these retarded fucking legal theories. Did Destiny publish anything? Did Destiny publish some video to the public internet? Yes, he sent a link that was arguably publicly accessible. Now answer, would the Brit be able to openly publish it if not for Destiny? Jesus. The whole idea that like if you send a like some link, like a Google Drive link to somebody, that's the same as posting the video openly on the internet if somebody could guess the link. I want to hear Destiny retell his Metal Gear Abby MC theory about how Abby MC was snooping around in his apartment. It's comedy gold. I don't understand how... I'm just so curious if they know... Like, if they know that they're all full of shit, or I just don't know. I don't have the theory of mind for it. I don't have the theory of mind for it. Like, Abby literally sent videos to her friends taking videos in my apartment while I'm in the shower. Like, this is not a schizo theory. I just have videos of this. I didn't even know these videos existed. To be clear, I at the time, I really wouldn't have cared that much. I just didn't know this person was going to join a frivolous lawsuit against me. But it's like, is this... I'm sorry, is this me being schizophrenic right now? Is that... I want to hear Destiny retell his Metal Gear Abby MC theory about how Abby MC was snooping around in his apartment. It's comedy gold. Oh, this guy said it. Abby literally sat in his chair and took pics of his computer. What is sapiosexual arguing about? Who's left is your most loyal to this day orbiters? Mr. Mooten and Kyla and Nick. And I guess Xena. Xena's never done anything. Can you explain who Abby MC is again? I thought she was Rose. A random mutual friend between me and Darius. She used to be on Darius' stream a long time ago. Oh, Darius as well? Dan, yeah. Okay. All right. Are we done with this? Last one, please. What is this? Queenman explains why Destiny lied about the Snark Life Discord server being 2 years old when it is actually only 10 months old. It would encompass his allegations, everything leading up to them, and everything he did in response. Is he saying it's existed for 2 years when it's actually created at this? Discusses the broader context of Destiny, Dan Saltman, and H3's threats against free speech. It is kind of e-Israel. Missy, hashtag SnarkBoySummer, followed by Straterade based. Nice. This is so weird how nobody is focusing on the solo guy who actually did the leaks. It's just like Batman. When they remember when they all drive by Bane because they're like, we got to get the Batman. That's who I am. Okay. Okay. Part of JTOX stream the day of the Chud Logic memes was him pushing people to make X accounts for Snark Summer. Nice. Have you ever listened to this?
So this
Destiny, link to when Queenman makes the 2-year, 2-month point.
Being portrayed the way it is. Destiny has spun up this narrative that this server has existed for 2 years, Why is he saying it's existed for 2 years when it's actually existed for 10 months? Well, just think about that timescale. What would that encompass? What would that encompass? It would encompass his allegations, everything leading up to them, and everything he did in response, right? So it is a retroactive justification, an attempted vindication narrative to make it seem as though the only reason anyone ever even cared about the fact he was sharing nudes without consent is because other people were spinning it up in the background. But we know that's untrue, don't we, guys? We know that's untrue. Because not only does the timeline make no sense, but Destiny himself, in his Bob 7 manifesto, destroyed Bob 7 for doing exactly that, for sharing a nude of Melina with Bose on a screen share in Discord.
So 2 things here. So it's really funny because 1, he just completely destroyed his own theory where he said that the timeline doesn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense. So why would I make that up? If I was going to fabricate a timeline, then why would I make that up? People that lie can't keep track of anything. So I'll tell you why I said 2 years if you really want to know. Here's the actual reality of the thing, okay? And I love that this works, and I love that you guys were so fucking manic and schizo posting and scattering and running about to your little corners to figure out. When I'm confronting people on things, I will keep the confrontation for the thing that I want incredibly precise, and I will fudge or just fuck up the details on stuff that's not relevant because you hyperfixate on the non-relevant things to try to figure out how much information you think I have. That's why I said 2 years. Because when I say 2 years, now, and this is exactly what happened in every single server these guys were in, the whole conversation changed to, oh shit, Destiny's making this up. Destiny hasn't seen anything. The server's not even 2 years old. I think he's just lying about all of it. I think he's made everything. And that's exactly what you fucking retards did. So if I fudge a detail or something, who knows? Maybe I actually don't know anything. Maybe I'm making it all up. Or I'm just like fudging a detail because I know it's not really relevant to anything, and I know that you guys will hyperfixate on the fudge details to try to figure out what you think I do know so that you can figure out what you can own to publicly or not, which is exactly what you all did, by the way. That's why I hedged every answer. That's why you guys on Twitter walked back that Shamu thing until it was completely and totally indefensible and it fell off a cliff, and then finally you cut ties. But yeah, I mean, it's not even like that hard to do. I just like say random shit, and then you guys freak the fuck out, and I'll just stay precise on the accusation because that's the only thing that really matters. And if you think I'm making anything up, well, call it out. If you think that snark left server is not a big deal, or whatever he just linked, and you think that I'm lying about everything, well, publish the server logs. If you're saying it's basically public, there's no big streamers in there, nothing bad happens, and I'm lying about everything, and it's not even 2 years old, well, just publish the server logs. No?
And in that,
also, this is another stupid talking point that Gisticle, I think this spawned out of the E-rape thing. They try to claim that I ended Chud Logic's career for sharing nudes without consent or whatever bullshit. That was not the fixation on the issue with Bob 7. The issue with Bob 7 was that Bob 7 was the sole entry point to the Austin show, and he was like sexually checking and gatekeeping women from getting onto that show. That was crazy. The fact that they try to reframe that whole thing as, oh, Desi was just mad that Bob 7 also shared Melina's dudes? Me and Melina, no, what? I don't even know did I ever even make that claim ever? Maybe that was like a peripheral claim, but that wasn't the big deal. The big deal was the fact that, and they always leave this out, Bob 7 was the sole feeder into the Raj Royale. That was the issue. But again, we just make shit up, and then if they tell all their people this, remember, as long as they're at the top of the funnel, they can fabricate whatever the fuck they want and then filter it down into their bullshit or whatever.
only does the timeline make no sense, but Destiny himself, in his Bob 7 manifesto, destroyed Bob 7 for doing exactly that, for sharing a nude of Melina with Bose on a screen share in Discord. And in that manifesto, Destiny admitted to doing the same behavior himself in the past and having issues with Melina over it.
Like, wow. That sounds like a really bad manifesto. It must not have been very effective then, if that's really what the whole manifesto was, right? I guess it probably didn't do anything then, right?
So we know it's total bullshit to pretend that this is just a manufactured standard that no one truly cares about. Because Destiny himself has cared about it, or claimed to care about it in the past, even destroyed someone's online career over it. Deliberately.
No, I don't know if I ever have, actually.
Actively, actually destroyed someone's career over it. I'm not going around getting into private calls with Destiny's friends, recording them, and then chopping it up and trying to spin a narrative on my stream, am I? That's what Destiny did with Bob 7. That's what Destiny did with Bob 7.
I don't think I recorded any of those calls. I think it was other women that came to me with recordings. I don't know if I'd recorded a single thing. I don't know if I was even in any of those calls. Were we? There might have been one initially, but I'm pretty sure the vast majority of them, there might have been one initial call maybe. But if it was, it would have been me. Oh, and Casey Tron might have been in that one. But past that, I'm pretty sure most of them were. Yeah. I'm pretty sure most of them were recorded by other girls that were like girl calls and shit. Have I memory hold this, but wasn't the Bob 7 manifesto about how Bob 7 was doing to you, what all these people are now doing to you, basically going around talking to everyone you associate with? Yeah, the big thing also, the funny thing is that my Bob 7 shit was just personally spite motivated in the beginning anyway, because he was just talking so much weird shit about me behind the scenes. Also, people are linking that he's trying to like come back on YouTube or whatever. I don't care. I don't hate Bob 7. I don't give a fuck. I don't think he should be permanent. I don't know if anybody should be like permanently canceled from the internet unless you've like raped or murdered somebody or done some crazy shit. I thought Bob 7 was legitimately a funny dude. All of his, I think most of his content was funny. Interpersonally, we technically didn't have any problems. Just shit talking behind the scenes was really weird. And then obviously that whole manifesto and all that bullshit. But yeah, I don't know.
So it's all projection. It's all a retroactive indication. That's what it's all about. And then, so that's the sort of drama context here, guys. We drop that into the broader context. The broader context. What's actually happening here? It depends how schizo you want to go with this, really, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You're in a world where I'm gonna go full schizo on this. You live in a world where Paramount has merged and owns the free press. Barry Weiss has been.
I won on this. Okay. Well, okay. Can I just wish I didn't have to, I don't like any of this. This is not like fun for me anymore. I'd rather just do politics. It's kind of where my brain is more, wants to be geared towards. I just can't believe that these people, and then Hassan and the way that all this shit works is just like, it's just all this shit. No way. These guys would never do shit like this. Quinlan often likes to victimize himself to justify his actions. Here he is making applause to do so while admitting to a deliberate and coordinated effort to build up Justicle's channel and destroy tomfoolery P. He operates off hatred, bitterness, and envy.
So this bitch who spent the entire time where I was 50 viewers, 100 viewers, 150 viewers, trying to starve me out, trying to suffocate me, remove all oxygen that could possibly come my way, slander me, claim I was brigading him, all sorts of shit, can suffer and rot watching from the outside as his place in the orbit was usurped by JTOX through a deliberate and coordinated effort to create a new Destiny after show by both of us. He was put in the fucking dirt, taken down from 150 viewers to 0. He can sit there miserably looking in on the ruins of his old social circles, and he can suck on my dick daily, okay? So this bitch
Jesus
who spent the entire time...
Christ. This is like the fucking the mentally impaired Olympics. My God. Are we okay, guys? We're not okay. We're losing it. What is this? The officer guy? Counterpoints Discord. Is this last night? 11:07? Or is this a bonger thing? Why was I even link this? Somebody links in the chat. I don't even know why. Just, oh, to show that he's in Connor's community? I don't know. They're all in everybody's communities. Okay. Deep breaths. He's a mod for Connor. Oh, based. Okay. They are talking about you, talking about them in Connor's Discord. Nice. Holy fucking shit, I'm exhausted. Yeah, try living this now. For your daily life. Okay. I need to watch this. Apparently this panel is good memes. I'll be back. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna watch this. Hold on. Why did you let the logistical drama and hate streams go on as long as you did? It seemed like a horribly toxic inevitability to me. Were you hoping it would keep the drama off the mainstream? Toxic inevitability? No, definitely not. It was just because I didn't do drama on my stream anymore, so I had to like offload all of it to the after stream. This like weird connection has just been the confluence of a lot of weird things that are just very unfortunate that they all came together. Like without Lauren De Laguna, like none of this hits like even 10% as hard. Without the pre-existing like lefty snark infrastructure that I didn't even know existed. Maybe it didn't even exist at that point as much. Maybe, no, probably did a little bit. This would have never been the case. There's just like a lot of weird, yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Okay, I'll be back 1 sec. Deep breaths. I have an anime music. Okay, take a deep. Be back 1 sec. what's up? Okay. Holy cinema background.
Our next talk of the day not only asks, but seeks to answer the question, should we stop making podcasts? Once upon a time, podcasts were supposed to democratize the media. Now, they're either enlightening humanity or trying to convince us that the moon landing was filmed in a WeWork. This panel asks whether independent media is expanding critical thought or simply optimizing for outrage. Please give a warm round of applause to independent journalist and podcaster Michael Tracy, author and podcaster Brett Weinstein, filmmaker and activist Lauren Southern, and our moderator, the writer for Forbes, author, podcaster, and entrepreneur, John Coutier.
Hello, everybody. I went looking for stage 3 in the basement. I don't know about anybody else. I managed to find it. I got here in time. We got Lauren here, showed up last minute. As usual. As usual. Should we kill podcasts? We're going to have a discussion. It's going to be crazy. I'll try and keep people from punching. But we're going to start with you. Yeah, you.
Me.
Should we kill podcasts? Apparently you want to.
Obviously, we cannot literally abolish podcasts, but I do think it should at least aspirationally be the great abolitionist cause of our times.
Seriously? There's nothing
the early
more
abolitionists
important
couldn't
than
envision how they
podcasts?
could get rid of slavery, at least initially. But they worked, and they worked hard. They theorized how to accomplish it, and then lo and behold, history has a way of bending toward justice. Okay, it's a little tongue-in-cheek. What the premise here, at least from my perspective, is that there is a very much needed critique to be made of the modern podcast ecosystem or the current media environment, because podcasts have pretty much supplanted traditional media in terms of overall influence, in terms of dictating political opinion and social mores. And go and look today, as I did this morning, at the top.
Have you or will you watch the Josiah versus Brad debate? Yeah, maybe after this, yeah.
Podcast in the United States, according to Spotify, for news. Number 2 is the Tucker Carlson podcast, and he's joined by other noted nutbag luminaries such as Candace Owens in the news category, not in the entertainment category, not in like the garbage hallucinatory category, in the news category. And so I think that calls for a bit of a thoroughgoing structural critique. Brett was a guest on the Tucker Carlson podcast, recently got millions and millions of views. It's incredibly lucrative. All the incentives militate toward huge profits from this current ethos that prevails in the podcast sector. And you have Brett, who I have no animosity toward, but I was listening to it.
I don't actually, I shouldn't even say that. I was going to say, I don't think I align with Michael Tracy most of the time for his politics, but actually I don't know that. Maybe I do. But I do appreciate that Michael Tracy is his own independent, unique person. All right? I appreciate that about him, and I will always appreciate that about him. One thing that never, ever, ever gets called out, ever, on any of these podcast spaces, they always talk about like the perverse incentives of the mainstream media and the corporate donors and all this other bullshit. They never talk about the millions or tens of millions of dollars that they all make being anti-corporation, anti-mainstream media, anti-establishment people. They never talk about that ever. So thank you for bringing that up.
And he's going on and on about how there's a hidden Epstein power may or may not have compelled Trump to go to war with Iran, et cetera, et cetera.
To try to adjudicate this here.
Well, I'm giving an example of I'm supporting my thesis.
Right, but that seems a bit unfair.
Okay, well, let me just finish my opening remarks and you can respond however you see fit. And so I thought, okay, maybe I'll investigate a little bit more about Brett's perspective on this Epstein issue, since he says it's the most central issue facing our society today. It gets to the very core of our entire democratic system. So he's on another podcast a few weeks earlier with this guy, Chris Jones, over 1 million followers on YouTube alone. And Chris Jones introduces the topic by saying, shouldn't we have riots in the streets right now over Jeffrey Epstein because all these files show that they were trafficking and eating children. And Brett just sits there and nods in affirmation. So there are
Michael, you had your opening statement. Thank you very much. We'll cut you off right there.
Uh-oh.
Brett, chance to respond, and then we'll go to Lauren.
Yeah, I don't know exactly why I should need to respond. I was asked.
Or you can have your own opening statement.
I was asked to join a conversation about whether we should end all podcasts, and I believe.
Oh, where is it? Where's the thing? Hold on, fuck. Point to the board. Folders. Prep. Boom. Okay. My conversations? That's in here, right? Fuck. Wait. Shh. Take a deep breath. The Weinsteins, all of the intellectual dark web people, and everybody even loosely associated with that term are exclusively here for same team convos or maybe friendly conversations. Although I would call them fake friendly conversations, where they're pretending they have some like substantive disagreements, but they're trying to come together and say they have more in common than separate from each other, or more in common than different from each other. But it's not really. It's usually over bullshit that they don't even really disagree on that much, or they don't even matter. But he thought he was signing up for one of these two things. Michael Tracy is always in fight mode, which I appreciate. Everybody that calls us part of the intellectual dark web is exclusively looking to be platformed on friendly convos with no critical pushback. Although, as I said earlier in our whole earlier drama debacle, that's basically all the media these days.
That is a candidate for being one of the 5 worst ideas ever. And really, there's some doozies on that list already. But the reason I say that is because what is a podcast? iPod cast. It's the idea that somebody gets to record a conversation and put it up for anybody who wishes to download it and listen to it. It's synonymous with free speech with a new technical twist. Now, you might agree with Michael, and I think with me, that most podcasts are pointless at best. They are not contributing to the culture. They're not a good thing. But that is not an indictment of the form. In fact, many things that are vital have exactly this characteristic. And
all media, in fact,
right, all media. So the question is, what is really being advocated here? Well, cryptically, it's an attack on our ability to discuss issues and reach our own conclusions by whatever mechanism we deem fit. This is literally the central concept undergirding the West, and I believe the West is the best hope that our species has for continuing to exist. So this is a threat because it enables those who would gatekeep our discussions, and all you had to do was watch what took place during COVID in order to understand what a bad idea that is. Might I just ask, how many of you are still getting...
One thing that you should also keep in mind more, and I'm thinking about this more, and I'm trying to front it in your mind more, or bring it to the forefront of your mind more, is the things that these people always say that we need because they're important for the West are always things that are almost universally being used to destroy the West, right? Freedom of speech is really important. Why is it important? So we can have whatever conversation we need. Why is that important? Because that's a core value for the West. Oh, okay. Well, what kind of conversations are we having? Brexit. Britain needs to leave the United Kingdom. COVID vaccine denialism. The pharmaceuticals are trying to kill all of us, and the government can't be trusted. Alberta separatism. Canada needs to break apart. The United States needs to conquer every country in the Western Hemisphere. Ukraine is full of Nazis, and they have bioweapon labs, and they're evil and terrible. Israel-Palestine. Like, oh, that's just, it's so crazy that it seems like all of the defense of the West platforms that you're talking about are so important for our defense of free speech in Western society are all being used in almost like a coordinated manner to destroy, functionally, the West.
Your boosters. I don't see, there's a hand, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a room of, 100. So you're welcome for that. That was podcasters who were not accepting the mainstream narrative, challenging it. And because of those podcasters, you now have reasonable doubt that this virus originated from nature. You know it might have come from a lab. You know that those vaccines have massive risks that were not acknowledged up front. And maybe you even know that they're
every single thing here is
purpose drugs that can safely deal with the disease. That's a benefit of podcasting. If we didn't have it, you'd still all be taking your boosters.
Lauren.
If you didn't have it, you might still believe in vaccines. Thank you. Okay. Good one. True.
Let's come to you. Do we have a voice of sanity here?
Well, I agree with Brett in the sense that podcasts came about as a reaction to mainstream media orthodoxy having one way and one way only of doing things, and they got a lot of it wrong. But there was a overreaction to some extent. What was meant to fix the problem of mainstream orthodoxy became its own wild world of, seeking the financial rewards of attention, political power, manipulation, and now we've got Candace Owens astral projecting into Streetlamps as the top podcast in America, up there anyways. And I think the solution to this, we can't really put a fascistic law in that, mandates we have the state come to your door and take away your podcast mics at gunpoint. But I think people need to be afraid of making podcasts. They need to be afraid of getting things wrong. Let me ask, for this room, how many of you, hands up, would prefer to be punched in the face over trending #1 on Twitter as a pedophile?
Sorry, what's
Would
the choice here?
Would you prefer to be punched in the face? Put your hand up if you'd prefer to be punched in the face. Or would you rather be trending #1 on Twitter with a bunch of podcasters saying you're a pedophile?
I'd want to be punched in the face.
Most people would rather be
think I
punched
have
in the
trended
face,
that.
and we have laws against that. People go to jail if they punch you in the face, right? But we don't have laws against 1,000 podcasters making up things about people. Even the president of France is having trouble.
No, we
Don't we have libel laws?
Libel laws, it costs like $100,000 just to get that started.
I'm not saying
Libel laws is bullshit. This is bullshit. Shut the fuck up. It's bullshit. You have to prove malicious intent. Who the fuck is going to sue randoms on fucking Twitter? Is bullshit. These might not even be accounts that exist in the United States. That's a bullshit defense, and this fucking retard knows it.
have a good system.
We don't
what
have
I'm
a good
saying is we do have laws.
I'm not calling for the imposition of any fascistic laws, and I'm not literally calling for the abolition of podcasts as such. Unto themselves, podcasts are a neutral forum or a neutral format. But yeah, Brett, I'm sorry to say it is an indictment of the current podcast ecosystem for your podcast, the Dark Horse Podcast, to put out a segment entitled, quote, "Is Epstein still alive?" Brett Weinstein thinks so. Brett Weinstein argues that Epstein is probably still alive based on game theory. That was February 13th, 2026. So I'm not saying the government should come in and penalize you for spreading that totally bogus, hysteria-fomenting information, but I don't know, maybe we have to have a kind of cultural expectation.
Wait, fuck, hold on, I'm gonna go back.
Laws, and I'm not literally calling for the abolition of podcasts as such. Unto themselves, podcasts are a neutral forum or a neutral format. But yeah, Brett, I'm sorry to say it is an indictment of the current podcast ecosystem for your podcast, the Dark Horse Podcast, to put out a segment entitled, quote, "Is Epstein still alive?" Brett Weinstein thinks so. Brett Weinstein argues that Epstein is probably still alive based on game theory. That was February 13th, 2026. So I'm not saying the government should come in and penalize you for spreading that totally bogus, hysteria-fomenting information, but I don't know, maybe we have to have a kind of cultural expectation that there will be some kind of
I have two
repercussions for you to be peddling that
Even
nonsense.
before
Sorry, fuck me. I'm getting baited. I'm getting one guy by retards in chat. Let me listen to this one more time. Notice in Brett's last response too, he didn't respond to anything that Michael Tracy actually said or whatever. But because Weinstein is just here to have I think he thought it was just a thing where you say what you're going to say, the next person says what they're going to say, the next person says what they're going to say, and you just go around in the circle, and you're not actually talking to each other ever. You just like say a thing, and you're not actually confronted ever. But
or the imposition of any fascistic laws.
Okay, sorry,
and I'm not
Jesus,
literally calling
I'm
for
here.
the abolition of podcasts as such. Unto themselves, podcasts are a neutral forum or a neutral format.
Okay.
But yeah, Brett, I'm sorry to say it is an indictment of the current podcast ecosystem for your podcast, the Dark Horse Podcast, to put out a segment entitled, quote, "Is Epstein still alive?" Brett Weinstein thinks so. Brett Weinstein argues that Epstein is probably still alive based on game theory. That was February 13th, 2026. So I'm not saying the government should come in and penalize you.
Okay, so this is before he called him out for a bunch of other things on Joe Rogan. There's another one. Let's see if Weinstein responds to this.
For spreading that totally bogus, hysteria-fomenting information. But I don't know, maybe we have to have a kind of cultural expectation that there will be some kind of
I have two
repercussions for you to be
good.
peddling that
Even
nonsense.
before you
Brett,
respond
did
to
Did
that,
you read the Epstein files that you love to
I
talk about
wanna
so much
propose-
with
I
Epstein's
wanna propose-
autopsy photos before you put out your game theoretical theory?
I want to propose two remedies, okay? You have raised a segment that I did. The remedy on that one is go watch it.
Right now. Everybody take 30 minutes and go watch it right now before we can talk about it.
See
Yeah,
whether
you
or
get,
not.
you get the views and the clicks and you benefit
I don't care about the
financially
views
from
and the
it.
clicks. You can look for it on
Hence the
somebody
warped
else's.
incentive structure.
Look, the remedies are clear. You can watch the content and you can decide for yourself. And for Michael, who is offended by the content, he can turn it off. The
So either watch it and fall into the black hole of retardation, or just don't engage and don't confront the people that engage with it and just go off into your own black hole. Oh, what a marketplace of ideas we have right here, by the way, guys. Nice.
remedy already exists. We don't need anything beyond that.
So there's truth in what you say, but there's also, from Michael's point of view, I mean, any media has that problem, right? I mean, we've seen stuff on mainstream media. We've seen stuff in books, old-fashioned media, print media, that you could say is 100% wrong, state propaganda, whatever the case might be, right? So it's a broader point than just podcasts, correct?
No,
Go ahead, Lauren,
it's
if you
not
want to say
just a
something.
broader
Yeah,
point.
the idea that we can just turn it off. Like, if let's say you have the state constantly pushing, you have to get the vaccine, they're forcing that to trend on YouTube. Would you just tell people you have to turn that off, or do you think?
I would certainly say turn off the mainstream media. It has proven it is no longer capable of doing this job. And the only remedy we have is to discuss it ourselves. You can listen to all of the people who are claiming some expertise and decide for yourself. That's the whole reason podcasts work. Now, let's talk about books.
The funny thing is that...
What do you say? Let's talk about books? Wait, what?
Now, let's talk about books.
The funny
Oh my God.
thing is that perspective is said quite frequently, but we
I'm curious. I'm just curious because fucking why the fuck not? Can somebody link me the podcast where he's talking about Epstein maybe still being alive at the timestamp that they're talking about? I'm curious.
know from Nazi propaganda times that the amount that people actually tend to believe in a particular thing is very correlated, not with whether it's true, but how many times they've heard it.
And the remedy
And
is
that's
what?
a challenge.
And the remedy is what? Having CNN blaring nonsense about COVID in every airport and having people digest
That's
it
an
en masse
interesting
is a problem.
perspective. I mean, there's different meetings. You said mass media like it's one thing.
I want to go back to your point about books, okay? Do the same analysis Michael has done with podcasts and do it with books. And you know what you're going to find? You're going to find most books are not contributing to the culture, but Michael is not going to advocate for getting rid of the form. What's more,
Nobody reads anymore. Podcasts get everybody illiterate.
Michael is not going to take responsibility for the fact that among those books, you're going to find the Communist Manifesto, a book which has resulted in the death of 60 to 100 million people. So
Like, this guy considers himself an intellectual, and people watch him thinking he's like an intellectual. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what the fuck, guys? Hold on, let's quick break.
Now I want to get to the reason that I think
I do look at this as a case of...
This segment is titled, Epstein Probably Did Survive. Brett Weinstein explains why.
Now I want to get to the reason that I think Epstein probably did survive.
Before you do, does it matter?
Yes and no. I mean, for one thing...
It seems to me that he was a puppeteer, but he wasn't, it seems, a brilliant puppeteer.
Well, let's put it this way. If you survived, that describes a landscape of people who participated in dodging justice for him, in hoodwinking the public, in breaking the justice system. So the point is, that's a vast crime of its own, right? We had a right to...
That's a different question from, does it matter if he still lives?
Well,
if he lives, then that implies more crimes yet.
It implies more crimes yet. But it also, I think, is suggestive of where we should be looking for this power to be continued to be wielded. So to the extent that the thing is still alive, Epstein having survived is meaningful because, wow, is it an important feature of the Game of Thrones that's being conducted.
Like, what you're seeing here, this is the funnel. This is the end stage of the funnel. They're in a totally different reality right now, right? So you guys might be spamming shit in chat, but this makes perfect sense to everybody listening. It's like, yes, they've been prepped for this for the past 2 years, listening to this crazy shit. This woman right here, by the way, is his wife also. And I think both of these people are PhD level degree holders. So they're not just like random retards either. It's just like... I don't even know how many of these comments are real. When I saw his interview from jail, he was as far from suicidal as possible. He seemed almost smug. I'm a licensed security installer. This is beyond sketchy. A suburban police beat cop on his first day at work should have been able to recover the footage.
So I think that the game theory, quite apart from the evidence, and there is evidence that's weird. There's evidence that there was a decoy vehicle when Epstein supposedly killed himself, designed to mislead the press as to what vehicle to follow. Could you put up the evidence of the hard drive having been wiped? So, okay, I tweeted nothing to see here, literally, in response to an account called Brian Allen, who says, newly released documents show an FBI agent removed the hard drive from the jail's camera, wiping all the footage from the night Jeffrey Epstein died.
When? When was it wiped? Was this months after, like, images were taken of the disc? Or what is this even about? Or did they fabricate whole new footage, or?
And then if you look at the documents, which are unfortunately a little blurry, I think I have a copy here. It's the second one, Jen. So this one is a document, appears to be the interview of a witness who has been redacted on 3/12/2020. It's page 2 of 2, page 1.
How do people get sucked in? You make it sound like a black hole with no escape. Is that your theory? If so, well, yeah. If you're on the For You pages, there's no escape. They're gone. This was the thing that I described before. Now I've kind of like fully fleshed it out. But remember how before I would tell you, like, man, if a friend messages me, have you seen this Candace Owen thing? I know that I have like 6 months left with that friend until they're forever gone. And this has happened multiple times to me in my real life with people who are not like chronically online lunatics. Like, this has just happened. Now I understand the reason why is because once they're getting that in their feed and they didn't go out and seek it out, if they continue to scroll on the infinite feeds, they're just being presented more and 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 more of that stuff. I can try to correct on 1 or 2 things, but I'm just one voice against the thousands that they're getting, shoved into their infinity scrolls. And it's impossible. It's impossible for them to, unless you cut off access. You have to cut off access from those scrolls. But I mean, obviously that's the whole thing, yeah.
1 of 2 is also included here. It says, told to start working on the system, then Redacted started removing the bad drives in order to rebuild the DVR. Redacted advised that an FBI agent was the one who pulled out the DVR. Redacted also advised that he knew that by replacing both hard drives, the system would be wiped, and that he had advised personnel at MCC of that.
MCC is the correctional facility where Epstein was?
Yeah. So there is evidence. The story that we are given is that there was massive failure in the technology at the prison site.
That's bad luck.
Well, I think there is massive failure of the technology. It's not well maintained, which of course leaves open the option to make.
It takes a special type of person to get pulled into it and be able to realize that they are wrong and try to challenge themselves Yeah, of course, it's not like a normal thing and it shouldn't be a normal thing because you kind of trust what other people are saying around you, and this is how we build our world. You have to have some trust of the people around you and the things you hear around you, right?
To hide something with technological failures. But the claim here, which I find frankly extraordinary,
The claim in what you just read.
yeah, is that that there were failures of multiple drives. There was only one drive, I think, that was likely to have the footage. It had failed, and in order to replace it, to get the system back up and running after his death, they knew that it would wipe the data off this drive. Now,
I don't know if that's what that paragraph said at all, but okay.
Contravenes my understanding of how most drives work. Whether this was a physical disk drive or an SSD, there's no reason that memory should be volatile. And of course, the FBI should have captured whatever drive was removed. And
True.
There's, of course, an industry that specializes on recovering data, even deleted data, from hard drives and things. So I don't understand what the claim even is, why it would have been deleted. But let's say that that claim is valid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why on earth, in light of the crime that was committed, would you not have moved heaven and earth to preserve whatever evidence was there? Because the question about whether he killed himself is painfully obvious, especially in light of the failure. You know, the guards were asleep.
I just don't get how people can fall into some of the insane stuff like Candace Owens shit, MAGA stuff I kind of get, but I don't see how anyone could believe Charlie Kirk is a time traveler communicating via astral projection. Well, the problem is, like, once you've broken down everything, like, I think it's possible to make people believe anything, right? Like, every single part of our online media apparatus, and fuck that, even just go to social media. Like, if there's a post about cops, it's how the system is corrupt, and the cops are going to investigate themselves. If you post a thing about layoffs, it's probably because there was major profit at the large corpo and they're trying to cut all the people out. If you post a thing about foreclosures on housing, it was probably some hedge fund that bought up the homes and it evicted all the people. If you bring up something like every single bad thing in your life can be traced back to some malicious actor that's part of the system. It's why the populism shit is so popular right now, is because it is the whole system and every part of it is rigged and corrupt against you, and it's capitalism and corporations and the police forces and the Epstein class and everything. And it's like, Jesus, everything is like that now.
The camera system wasn't working in the right place. Some dude had been moved into his cell, some murderer. So there's all kinds of reasons that you would want to be able to nail down exactly what happened if that's what you were trying to do. And it is very convenient that the hard drive apparently got wiped in an attempt to repair the system.
Have you had different experiences where you try to explain to them how the loop works and how dangerous it is? Like, is there anything we can do other than abolishing these For You pages, or at least removing this in the algorithm? I used to speak about this more in the past. I haven't brought it up in a while, but one thing that I said that was so illuminating to me, I think I just totally lucked into this. I either had a good teacher or a good textbook. In high school, I took an AP Psych class. So my guess is probably this is equivalent to like a Psych 101 class. And I feel like the only thing we did all year long, it must have been other stuff, but I feel like the biggest thing we did all year long was just learn how untrustworthy the human brain is in its natural state. That you can, you have so many different memory biases, eyewitness testimony is just horrendously unreliable. The way that you remember and recall things is not like a one-to-one recording of an event. The way that you encode for memory, the way that you... There's just like so many things that are like unreliable about your brain. And I left that class like thinking about that a lot. It stuck with me for some reason. Like, oh, there's like a lot of, you got to be careful. There's a lot of weird shit. This was also about the time that I was coming off of my huge like Ayn Rand kick. And I started to realize like, okay, well, I became an atheist. And then I had a friend recommend me Anthem. And then I read Atlas Shrugged and I became a full-on fucking objectivist. And I was ready to like give my whole life for the cause and fucking supported Rumpel and everything else. And it's like, well, wait a second. What are the chances that I became an atheist? And the very first author that I picked up happen to have the answer to everything. Okay, fuck, I'm probably just an impressionable young fucking retard. That's more likely than not that's what's happened, rather than I just stumbled upon the author who's correct about everything, right? But our brain in our normal state is just not always the most trustworthy, unbiased deliverer of information, and there's a lot of ways that it can be manipulated. But most people don't think about that. Most people feel like they're pretty well in control of what they think and what they see, and they can audit their own information. So when you start to present to somebody like, hey, you might be part of some like wacko fucking media ecosystem, like you're asking that person to accept as a premise that their mind could be totally wrong in evaluating every part of their reality almost. It's the equivalent of telling somebody like, listen, I just wanted to chat with you. I understand that you've been religious, but like, I think God is not real, bro. That's like, you're about to rewrite my whole reality. Like that's a very, 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 very tough call to make. And I don't even know if we have, I don't even know if we have anything, like there's just nothing comparable to the internet shit these days, I don't think. Because it's just so much. It's so much bombardment with information, with people controlling the top of that funnel.
Guards were asleep. The camera system wasn't working in the right place. Some dude had been moved into his cell, some murderer. So there's all kinds of reasons that you would want to be able to nail down exactly what happened if that's what you were trying to do. And it is very convenient that the hard drive apparently got wiped in an attempt to repair the system, if that happened. Okay, but I don't think any of the evidence we have so far is more than suggestive. And some of it, I think, turns out to be garbage. So there was a brief flurry of excitement over the fact that Epstein appears to have had a Fortnite account, a video game, that continued to be active after his death. Fortnite put out a press release in which they said that some other account had changed their name to look like Jeffrey Epstein's account as a prank or whatever. Hilarious. But the point is, okay, so that could be just some lone person doing something stupid, or it could be what's called flooding the zone, where you're trying to figure out what happened, and lots of garbagey conspiracy theories are introduced.
Is Brett a tier 1 or tier 2 or whatever you call them? I feel like Brett is a tier 2. I think this is a sucker who actually believes this shit. When I look at these people, there are just people that I perceive as being not very confident and can be like kind of like drawn along with the crowd. This is a total like psychological analysis. I don't have any proof of that. I don't have any reason to think that, but I think that he got his feelings personally hurt over the not Evergreen, that's the college or whatever, where I think he was in the right. I thought that was fucking retarded. He was one of the victims of peak woke, I think, where was Evergreen the school that he taught at? Basically, I think this was like at the heyday of like this BLM shit, where the black students and the woke, self-hating white students were like, we're going to have a day where no white people should go to school to celebrate how black people used to not be able to go to segregated schools or whatever. And Brett wrote a whole thing where he's like, if there are students who want to take a day off because they feel like it, helps them remember this particular thing or whatever, I think that's super great and they should do that. I do feel like it's a little bit weird to tell white people to take a day off for this. I don't know if I'm exactly comfortable with that. Students are free to do what they want, but like I'm going to show up and teach my class. And he got eviscerated for that. He was Destiny, you are insane, bro. You are wrong on this. That is not how it went down. Is it not? If you want, link me. I would be glad to be wrong about this, but I feel like I did go into this at one point because I did want to know what were the origins of this. I think I read his email. Shoot me. What was his email? Brett Weinstein email, Evergreen day off. From Brett Weinstein. Dear Rashida. Hold on. When you first described the new structure for day of absence / day of presence at a past faculty meeting where no room was left for questions, I thought I must have misunderstood what you said. Later email seemed to muddy the waters further while inviting commitments to participate. I now see from the boldface text in this email that I had indeed understood your words correctly. There is a huge difference between a group or coalition deciding to voluntarily absent themselves from a shared space in order to highlight their vital and underappreciated roles, the theme of the Douglas Turner Ward play, Day of Absence, as well as the recent Women's Day walkout, and a group or coalition encouraging another group to go away. The first is a forced call to consciousness, which is, of course, crippling to the logic of oppression. The second is a show of force and an act of oppression in and of itself. You may take this letter as a formal protest of this year's structure, and you may assume I will be on campus on the day of absence. I would encourage others to put phenotype aside and reject this new formulation, whether they have registered for it or not already. On a college campus, one's right to speak or to be must never be based, or to be on campus, I guess, must never be based on skin color. If there was interest in a public presentation, a discussion of race through a scientific/evolutionary lens, I would be quite willing to organize such an event. It is material I have taught in my own programs and guest lectured on at Evergreen and elsewhere. Everyone would be equally welcome and encouraged to attend such a forum, irrespective of ethnicity, belief structure, native language, political leanings, or position at the college. My only requirement would be that people attend with an open mind and a willingness to act in good faith. I don't know what he was teaching through then, but I don't think this is like hardcore race realist shit. I don't think so. But I think this was super fun. I think the inversion of this, like the school used to have like a day of absence where I don't know if it was just black students or people that were part of this coalition would stay home for a day to show that like, well, when minorities are gone from your life, you miss them and it's important. And they twisted this into like we think that all white people should not go to school on this day. You should stay home. And it was just like so cringe. I feel like his email here and his position on it was fine. And the reaction to him, video unavailable. Good one. the reaction to him was just crazy. Like, students were like screaming outside. He was like massively fucking protested off of the college campus. Maybe I watched this in the past.
Some people's...
Shut up. No one cares. Good one. Good one. Good one. Good one. Good one. Gisticle and Esports Batman are cutting off my direct connection to YouTube. I can prove this. I have Discord logs of them talking about it.
I happen to disagree with other folks on this campus about the way there, okay? But I'm not an unreasonable person. I'm not uninterested. I'm not uninformed about history. I know the cases of these things. I have arrived where I've arrived from a different route. I've arrived there through academic study. I know why racism happens.
We live racism. We don't have to study it to understand it. We live it. And the issue
What a stupid statement.
everything. What about all the racist scientific theories they had about black people? This is a protest here. Our presence now is our protest.
We come here as students against campus racism and against anti-blackness on campus. And we would like to reach out to the students of color in the humanities as well as the sciences that we are here to support. And we want to dismantle anti-blackness and decline. We want to give some sense of solidarity and provide safety and outcome.
Will you listen to me? Yeah. Okay. No, not me. Please.
No, put aside yourself. Go!
Okay. I'm committed to equity. I'm committed. I believe that anyone on this campus, I happen to disagree with other folks on this campus about the way there. Okay? But I'm not an unreasonable person. I'm not uninterested. I'm not uninformed about history. I know the implications of these things. I have arrived where I've arrived from a different route. I've arrived there through academic study. I know why racism happens.
We lived racism. We don't have to study it to understand.
This was back when yeah, this was like peak like anti-SJW or SJW shit 2017. It was whoo. The funny thing is that like Brett was like, this is also why a lot of these guys never admit now that they're conservatives, because back then Brett probably was like a progressive-ish type lib, right? He was faculty at a university, right? And you could even read in his email where he's literally saying, like, I think it's important to have these types of events where certain members, you know, might withdraw from participation. I think that this logic is crippling to oppression and everything. Like, he has, like, all the right vernacular and lingo, unless he was, like, secretly super conservative. I just never saw the evidence of that. But, yeah, it just... Yeah, but anyway, I always say this, like, people will have, like, this one event that mind fucks them and just completely sets them on a different path politically for the rest of their lives. I think it happened to Jordan Peterson over the trans stuff, too, that bill, the C-16 stuff. And it just, they just get completely fucking like spun out into another universe. Sorry, holy shit, what a fucking, anyway, that was a tangent of a tangent. We're on this tangent, back to this tangent.
Used into the milieu so that you can't sort reality from garbage. But all right.
Oh, anyway, all that to say, I think he's a genuine believer. I think he's a tier 2 mindfucker. Like, I think this is a guy who, if like there's another COVID, he won't get the shot. He won't trust it. He won't believe it. I genuinely believe that for this guy. Yeah.
Here's my point. Put the evidence of something fishy around Epstein's death aside. And let's do this from pure game theory. Epstein, whether it was the purpose of what he was doing, one of the purposes, or not the purpose at all, had a lot of compromise on some of the most important, powerful people on Earth. You know, members of the royal family, people at the top of science, universities, government. He had a lot of compromise on powerful people. That means two things. One, it means that he would have perceived a certain amount of danger, because to the extent that people had done things in his presence that then jeopardized them later, the temptation to eliminate him so that that stuff did not come to light must have been on a lot of people's minds.
Yep.
And two, he had the purest, most refined material with which to fashion a dead man switch. The term ring a bell?
I think you talked about this last time.
So the point is, he would have understood.
I mean, I know what it means, but you may, if you thought I didn't, it's possible that some people in our audience don't.
A dead man switch.
Oh, shit, I understand now. I'm so sorry. I get this now. This is the evolution of the response to my question. Not saying that he heard my response, but I always ask people, hold on. Epstein was the most prolific blackmailer of all time, right? Yes. He did have a client book, right? Yes. So he was ready to blackmail every wealthy person on the planet, right? Yes. Then why the fuck did he get arrested? What? Why would he have been allowed to live for a single day in a U.S. federal jail arrested, knowing that he had blackmail material on every single powerful person on the planet? And then, now this is the next evolution of the conspiracy. You're right, Destiny. That's why he's not even fucking dead. He escaped.
Is something that is designed...
Has it ever been established that Epstein had all this dirt on powerful people? Nope. All of that is delusional fantasy. Nothing in the Epstein file, nothing even remotely suggests that. This is all just, but everybody believes this, including at least half the people watching me right now.
If you thought I didn't, it's possible that some people in our audience don't.
A dead man switch is something that is designed to be revealed if you suffer an untimely death in order that those who might want to kill you will not do it. And my feeling is Jeffrey Epstein may not have been the swiftest tool in the shed, but he was certainly smart enough to understand, the swiftest tool. He wasn't the sharpest bulb in the drawer. But he was certainly smart enough to understand, A, that he was in jeopardy, and B, that he could change the set of incentives around eliminating him such that were he to find himself in prison, he couldn't just simply be suicided. So I think, let's just go through the set of possibilities. It is possible Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. Why would he have done that? He would have killed himself because he didn't want to face the consequences for what would be revealed in a trial. Okay? On the other hand, he had a lot of power. He had a lot of powerful people who had an interest in him not saying what he knew on the stand, or making a plea deal, throwing bigger fish under the bus. So would he have killed himself in order to avoid a trial in which he actually had cards that may well have allowed him to get a sweetheart deal the way he did in his first trial? Doesn't sound likely. This is somebody who might have done that only if he thought he didn't have any other options, and we were a long way from finding out that he didn't have any other options. So that raises the question of whether or not he was suicided. Would he have been suicided? Well, he would have been...
That's an Orwellian word.
So I don't know. So this is basically just him opining on this completely baseless conjecture on some shit that he invented in his mind. This is just retarded. This is the intellectual dark web. Okay. I'm glad we watched this. Thank you. Back to this. Okay. So thank God we watched that. What a great segment. Thank you.
Among those books, you're going to find the Communist Manifesto, a book which has resulted in the death of 60 to 100 million people. So it has a debt to pay. Now, I'm not advocating we get rid of it. I'm advocating you read the good ones, you put down the bad ones, and you decide for yourself. That's
just decide everything for yourself. Remember when they say that too, decide for yourself. Like, that's also code word for don't trust anything and destroy all of Western society, right? Because one of the most important aspects of civilization is that we don't decide for ourselves, right? A single human being cannot learn to build a building in their lifetime, like every single part of it, right? You have to rely on other people with specialized knowledge who are learning knowledges that have been passed down by other people because you rely and trust on the fact that the things that they said worked, right? It's not the idea that like any human being can venture into any field and just decide for themselves. Well, no. What you really have to decide for yourself is who do you trust, right? That's what you really have to do.
how the West works, and Michael is actually more interested in having some authority, not elected, tell you what to think than allowing the messiness of us hashing it out for ourselves.
Hashing it out? Why not hash it out then? He's here to hash it out with you right now. You don't want to hash it out, though.
Completely wrong. I'm urging everyone to do what they can to develop the critical faculties necessary so that when they consume a podcast like Brett's and they're told blaringly that Epstein could still be alive because of some game theory nonsense that Brett cooked up and just throws out there and then rakes in the clicks and the cash from, that they'll have like the cognitive abilities to see that they're being fed total nonsense. And notice he doesn't even attempt to defend what he puts out on the merits.
Yep. I said this before. Yeah, Tracy brought up like 2 or 3 different things now, and he doesn't even try. Brett Weinstein didn't even try to defend any of the crazy shit he said. He didn't even address it. He was like, let's talk about books now.
Accuses me of wanting to arrogate some authority to myself to gatekeep or to restrict anybody from consuming this podcast slop. I'm not saying that is even possible to do. What I'm saying is we need a social norm of some kind so that you face some kind of penalty for putting out this stuff, and then using that as a basis.
I should face a penalty
You're
for
telling
making
people
an analytical
that their children were eaten by cannibals, and you don't think there's an issue with that? You bring up the Communist Manifesto? Of course, I don't want to ban books or even ban podcasts. I want a more healthy media ecosystem where there's some penalty to be paid if you chronically delude the masses.
There is.
You are contributing
there
to.
Is a penalty
and
to be paid.
also, oh my God, on Tucker's podcast, you and him you're so concerned. Epstein is the Rosetta Stone, the pedophile trafficking Rosetta Stone that will explain why Trump went to war with Iran. Trump has no power because of this hidden power structure. Rather than doing a real political critique that is fact-based and empirical, what you do is invoke all of these metaphysical claptrap concepts that gets everybody worked up and gets you a lot of ad revenue, and everybody is much less well-informed. Because there's
Man, I bet after this, Brett's going to want to go in on Michael Tracy to prove him wrong about what was a huge attack against the credibility of his entire show, right? Are you really going to let those attacks against everything you've said stand for? No way, right? No way.
Worked up and gets you a lot of ad revenue, and everybody is much less well-informed. Because
there's a proceeding. My podcast. Hold on.
Ban books or any other kind of
hold on. My podcast was demonetized for 5 years by YouTube for discussing vaccine dangers with the mRNA platform. Okay, we paid a huge
Everybody's
penalty.
life doesn't revolve around vaccines.
No, a lot of people's do, and a lot of people aren't here because they took them. And there's a very clear reason.
I'm going to disagree with you
Where's the evidence for that?
on that one.
Do you want to disagree? Then let's do it.
I don't disagree with your right to
Let's do it. Oh, do it. Fight.
say what you're saying, but I think that they saved millions.
Why the fuck have you not talked to Tracy? He's your fucking ally. What do you mean? He was here like a couple weeks ago in my fucking apartment.
I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
You want to
very
disagree?
vociferously.
Then let's do it.
I don't disagree with your right to say what you're saying, but I think that they saved millions of lives, and I think that the science is on that side.
You know,
Anyways.
you know that the claim that they saved millions of lives is based entirely on
I would moderate this panel. Holy fucking mother.
Do you think that there needs to be,
That was 2 months ago. That's what I said 2 or 3 months ago.
any regulation or consequence when people get things wrong?
Regulation of people getting things wrong? No.
Of course not. You should just be able to lie with impunity.
If it harms others.
There is a consequence.
There is a consequence. Your podcast will be less popular.
No, I have been in media for a decade, and I have tried to pursue defamation cases, and it's always $100,000 just to begin the process.
Right.
If you're an average person that's getting slandered, getting lied about in the media, they're getting things wrong, these processes, especially in America, the defamation process is near impossible.
Okay, we're going to give Lauren the floor a little longer because you guys talked a lot, and also she seems to make some sense. Second,
have I made no sense?
You have made some sense, but you are also very vitriolic, which sometimes.
This is one of the most cancerous things that has happened to all of the discourse. The worst person, I can't break through. And you guys always like post on the subreddit, and I think about ways to break through and whatever. But like I've realized this in the past is you cannot overcome a bad moderator. It poisons the conversation so much. People like this, I don't even know if he's aware of it, do so much more damage to the discourse than anything else, right? Like, I think that Lauren, I think that everything she said here has actually been pretty on point. I would agree with all of it. But him saying that Lauren is the only one here making sense and these two aren't because they're mean, because they're talking loudly, because Michael Tracy's trying to be confrontational, it is so fucking cancerous. It is such fucking AIDS cancer when people do shit like this. Like, it's speech. We should be able to shout at each other. We should be able to scream at each other. We should be able to have disagreements and hash it out, as you say. But this whole like, well, you guys are just being vitriolic. He's being vitriolic because he called him out on lying about some things on his podcast? There weren't even personal attacks in here. What, like...
Second...
Have I made no sense?
You have made some sense, but you are also very vitriolic, which sometimes
Rightly
detracts from
so.
it. Okay. Lauren's going to have the floor, please. Lauren, what is your solution here? Because, like, it is true that many harmful and wrong things go on many different forms of media. It's also true that many of us will have different ideas about which ones are wrong and which ones are harmful. It's also true that...
This is like this is the propaganda model 101, is to make it so that everything is the same as everything else, right? There is no fact of the matter for anything. There is no fact of the matter. Like, well, I think that this guy, killed this other dude. Well, this other guy thinks that dude didn't kill the other dude. Oh, well, I mean, you can both have your own opinion, and, everybody's entitled to what they want to believe, and, anybody could be right. They both think they're right, and it's like, well, how about we do what we're supposed to fucking do in a fucking conversation, and we assess the strengths of our fucking argument? Isn't that the whole fucking point of the format? It's not just to give a bullet point list of talking points. It's supposed to be that we go back and forth on the credibility of our statements to figure out who's correct. Why are we pretending like it is? And people, these guys, the talkers, the podcasters, they love to live in the ambiguity of fact and the idea that, like, well, you say that you want to censor everybody that's telling people to fuck their own dicks down their throats, and I say that people might disagree over who's telling you to do that. So really, we can't have any argument about this whatsoever, and it's all bullshit and it's all moot, and there's no way that we can ever know. It's like, well, there's no fact of the matter whatsoever. Or they'll pull out the like, well, how could we ever determine that? How could we ever determine what's true or what's false? How could we ever determine the fact of the matter or anything? It's like, well, I don't know. How do we determine like what's true or false in literally anything? Have you ever had a disagreement with a friend before? Do you guys ever determine who's right or wrong? Have you ever been to court before? Do you ever determine who's right or wrong? Have you ever published a paper before? Do you ever determine who's right or wrong? Have you ever talked to an engineer before? Do they run tests to determine what's right or wrong? Like, what is this idea? For some reason in politics or for some reason in podcast spaces, it is literally impossible to even conceive of there being a right or wrong answer to anything. Why? That's such a weak, tepid defense of the discourse and the idea that you should never have confrontational conversations, or that there can never be a person deciding that somebody is objectively correct or incorrect as per some statement. Or
we don't have the education systems, especially in the United States, also in Canada to a degree, that are giving people the intellectual tools that they really need to be smart about media choices and to understand, is this likely to be true? How do I research it? Should I research it? Should I just believe it? What is your potential solution?
Yeah, I mean, people tune into the media because they don't have time in their day-to-day life to keep up with every single event happening. And I understand why people do that. And it's our job in the media to do the research. But the incentive structure is, I need to get 5 videos out a week. Otherwise, the algorithm isn't going to promote me. I need to be online 24/7. Otherwise, I'm not going to be the first to report on this story. So the incentive structure absolutely has to change. And I do think there needs to be more social shame around starting podcasts. No, your 4 buddies in their basement probably shouldn't start a podcast because they don't know what they're talking about. They haven't done any
or she's kind of correct, but I would even qualify that more. Anybody can start a podcast if they want. Just be mindful of what you're podcasting about, okay? If you have like the 4 buddies in a basement talking about beer podcast and you guys compare the light beers that you buy at the gas station over what makes what movies the best to watch, I think that's totally fine. But when it's like me and my retarded friend talking about where we really think the Ayatollah went to and why Epstein and Hitler are partying today on beaches in Argentina? Maybe not. Maybe that's just not a place that you need to ever have an opinion publicly shared about.
Research, and they don't have any background in this topic. That's the only way we stop things like vaping, this and that, was making it embarrassing to do. And there does need to be stronger defamation laws.
But how do you enforce something like that without being a fascist?
How do you enforce that? Well, once again, socially, there has to be a level of social shame. It has to become embarrassing. And then, which I think it's already
Apparently
happening.
nothing is embarrassing in the world anymore. We see what the President of the United States tweets or puts out on Truth Social.
She's just advancing a nicer version of my thesis.
I know. I know.
Somebody in YouTube chat, General So X2H. He didn't say there is no fact. His point is when something becomes a partisan issue, simple debate doesn't ensure the truth prevails. Yeah, but the issue is every single thing now is a partisan debate. Things that were never considered partisan before are now partisan debates, right? Like, some of you guys might be younger. I don't mean this to say that I don't mean this to say that based. I'm not trying to big bro you. Sorry, is what I said. Sorry, it's a strong message. What I mean is that, like, if you go back 10, 15, 20 years ago, I don't know how far you'd have to go back. So I'm just giving an example. Wacky diets used to exclusively be like hippie far left things. I'm trying to think. Like, if somebody was coming out here saying like, I'm on a carnivore diet, or I'm on a the no carb one, ketogenic diet or whatever, like these things were all kind of like, they were either old for like middle-aged older women weight loss fads, or they were like far left hippie things. Even anti-vaccine stuff, I don't know if there's a link to this, even anti-vaccine stuff used to be more kind of like hippie, far left, far the fuck out there things. The idea that like every single one of these things has become like a hyper-partisan issue now, I think is by design. Everything is partisan. Every single thing that is of monumental importance to the West functioning is now by design a partisan issue that we are never allowed to have a factual consensus on anymore. Like, it just can't be, right? Is there corruption in government spending or waste, fraud, and abuse in the government, right? Is there corruption in the government? Is there, did we land on the moon? Like, just every single fucking thing, it has to be some part of some larger conspiracy, part of some, like, if we want to argue, are trans children, like, is this a class of people that should be able to, with parental and physician consent, be able to pursue hormones? Well, we can't actually consider the research. What we have to really consider is the fact that big gay and the left might be using this through the attack vector of drag queens, to transify all of your children I don't even know what for. I don't even know what the fuck the reason was for. Just to fuck with you, I guess. The deep state was evil and they had nothing else better to do that day but to fuck with you by transing your kid. I don't even know. Like every single fucking thing now is a partisan issue that's beyond factual analysis and has to be debated in the marketplace of ideas. And by debated in the marketplace of ideas, I mean platformed on Joe Rogan and all of his loser flunky comedian wannabe spin-off shows where nobody actually is confronted or critically challenged on any of these things ever.
Thesis, yes. I'm sorry, there should be some social
I'm Canadian and it's good to be nice.
Not a legal repercussion, not Trump coming in and throwing you in a prison cell, but some kind of social repercussion for putting out a segment on March 28th, 2026.
Okay,
on the second largest podcast in the United States.
Make your comments a little more general.
Dark warning to Trump.
Michael,
No, I mean, we're on stage with people who
Yeah, like, if I was why would I say this? I have been Michael Tracy. I know this feeling. Make your comments more general. Why? I have a purveyor of misinformation right here. Why would I make my comments more general when I can just talk to him right here? He's literally right here. This is the guy right here.
I understand.
All right.
But I don't want to bring up the pitchfork.
Then I get to respond.
So Brett, since you like alluding to it because it really gets everybody enticed and enthralled and clicks on the video or downloads the podcast or tunes into the stream, why don't you just say straight up whether you think Donald J. Trump has been blackmailed by Jeffrey Epstein and or Israel, and that is why he went to war with Iran? Because you like just
okay, let him answer that question.
And then people
let him answer that. Okay, Michael. Let him answer. Holy shit! Somebody cut his mic, please.
So spell it out,
Michael. Brett, please answer the question.
Mike.
Thank you.
I'm entertained.
All right.
Are you not entertained? Brett, briefly and without the vitriol would be nice.
I did not sign up to be here on trial. So I'm going to respond as if this were a podcast. We're just having a discussion.
Oh my God.
Now, Michael has advocated that there should be some penalty for being wrong. Okay. Now, my point would be in science, and I am a scientist. I'm also a game theorist, so this is my specialty. In my world, the only arbiter of truth is not whether it's published in a journal, and it's not whether it's said by somebody with an advanced degree. It's whether it has predictive power. A model's value, its truth value, is built entirely based on whether it has predictive power. That is also the mechanism that should be functioning in the land of podcasts. You should listen to a podcast, and you should hear ideas advanced, and then you should see how they map onto the world that develops thereafter.
It's a general, this is a slop. It's a slop response. When he says, I'm going to pretend like I'm on a podcast, what he means is he wants to have this conversation. Yes, and. Same team conversations. You show up with both audiences understanding that you're both on the same team, and you'll mainly be there as a PR/bolster campaign for either the smaller or both parties. This describes essentially every single Trump and MAGA appearance on every single conservative media platform. These conversations allow for conservatives to pilot ridiculous arguments with basically zero pushback from the interviewer. The talking points there end up downstream from Trump and others in the admin. The talking points that end up downstream from Trump and others in the admin will start here. Style. Lots of yes and. Lots of layup questions. Essentially zero disagreement on substance or rhetoric. The goal here is essentially to spread the talking points for everyone else to carry forward. This is what he's doing. This is it. This is what when he says I want to respond like I'm on a podcast, that's what he's talking about. He means a hug box safe zone where nobody actually registers any substantial disagreement whatsoever. That's it.
Built entirely based on whether it has predictive power. That is also the mechanism that should be functioning in the land of podcasts. You should listen to a podcast and you should hear ideas advance, and then you should see how they map onto the world that develops thereafter.
How do I map onto the world that develops thereafter? Would you guys change your model of the world every 2 months? And then so Epstein is alive somewhere. We don't know where. We have no evidence of this. And he's still controlling world politics by because Epstein is alive somewhere else in the world and he has blackmail on Donald Trump. He's working for Israel to make Donald Trump go to war with Iran, but not fully go to war with Iran because we didn't boots on the ground. And it's just like, this is like such, like, what are we predicting here? Hello?
Do you think the average person is doing this, though, when they're more online than they are in their communities?
I think we are doing it very badly in large measure because of the way the algorithms push us towards things that are contentious rather than monitor what is actually...
Push us towards things that are contentious. Shouldn't that be what we want, though? Wasn't that... Wait, do you not trust people to view contentious content? You don't trust them? I thought he thought that we could view it ourselves and figure out what is going on. No?
An algorithm that you're exploiting?
I am not exploiting that algorithm. I'm paying because of that algorithm.
So you're advising everyone to
Lauren's
employ some kind of
point.
loopy
Michael, we're going
paradigm.
to give Lauren the floor.
So I spent the last 10 years in political online media, and one thing I got really wrapped into was the culture wars. And, men are stronger than women. We shouldn't have, men and women's sports, da-da-da-da. And I decided to log off for a year and take a step back to write a book on how corrupt everything was. And I started playing community sports. And I remember I was playing community volleyball, and they suggested a boys versus girls game. And some culture war slop, just like a tick, came out of my mouth. And I was like, oh, yeah, as if we should do that. The girls are going to get crushed. Everyone looked at me like I was a crazy person. And we played another round, and I realized when I'm actually observing the community teams in real life, the girls absolutely could beat the boys. Just because it's a local community game, not an Olympic game. They're tipping better, the boys keep hitting into the net, everything. But because I'd spent the last 10 years online in culture war slop world, I was applying my online reality to day-to-day life instead of just observing day-to-day life as it is. And it made me look insane. And right now, the average person is doing this. They're informed more by these kind of deep-fried versions of reality that podcasters are giving them than they are by the world around them. So they can't go into that world and then compare because they're terminally online, especially young people. They've grown up in this world, and their information about what men and women are like are from the whatever podcast. All women are gold diggers. All men are...
True, Osterwick. I don't know if you just made that statement up or if that comes from somewhere else. Unfalsifiable claims have infinite predictive power. True.
Rapists, whatever they're giving them than they are by the world around them. So they can't go into that world and then compare because they're terminally online, especially young people. They've grown up in this world, and their information about what men and women are like are from the whatever podcast. All women are gold diggers. All men are rapists. Whatever it is, this is the message that is permeating. And there has to be some sort of social consequence for cooking our reality like this.
Yes, Lauren, is that the average person? I sure hope it's not the average person. I agree with a lot of what you said.
Not us.
Maybe it's the average person who's terminally online.
It's the average person who's terminally online, and that is increasing. As people cannot buy property, as there are no real avenues forward for success in the real world, we are logging online. The closest thing a young person is going to have to a home is a moderately sized meme page. Like that is, you're actually building something at least online. That's why we all went into video games when we were younger during the 2008 economic crisis. It's an escape.
Okay, we have a minute left. Can you take 30 seconds of that, please?
Yes. On my pod.
How did Lauren get out of the gravitational pull? Because I debated her, obviously, and changed it. No, I'm just kidding. I think she has one was that she was a genuine believer early on. Right? That whole Mediterranean boat shit was not like a tier 2 LARPer. This was like a person, or no, I guess that would have been the tier 2 person. She was like a genuine believer in the cause, I would imagine. At 19 years old, going out on boats and shit is probably like a genuine believer. And then probably as you go through stuff over time, depending on the space that you're in, some realities are just going to be untenable after a while because the contradictions, I sound like Hassan, become too much to bear. So for trad women, I think that trad women en masse kind of went through this like 5 or 6 years ago. I think Lauren was like the centerpiece for a few of these pieces. But it was basically like you're a trad woman, you're part of these trad spaces, even though they all seem to hate women, but they don't hate you. And then you get husbands, and then the husbands actually are fucking insane. And you're like, oh shit, this is kind of fucked. And then you kind of realize like, fuck, my life experience is incongruent with the political stuff that I was believing in before. And then it kind of like breaks apart from there.
Podcast with my wife, Heather Hying. We have spent a lot of time talking about something that I call the Cartesian crisis. It is exactly...
Oh my God. Where are the decoding the gurus guys for the phrases that Brett makes up to explain reality. Fuck me, dude.
On my podcast with my wife, Heather Hying, we have spent a lot of time talking about something that I call the Cartesian crisis. It is exactly what Lauren is pointing to. Do not hear me as saying podcasts are better than you think. They're probably worse than you think. But it is necessary that we use this form in order to understand what is going on, because the mainstream alternative is not functional.
Okay, I'll give
As opposed to the alternative that is functional. Give some examples of functional podcasts, please.
you the floor. You'll be able to end. I'll just say this. It'd be so much easier to listen to you. I think that I agree with you on many things, likely, if you would just be a little nicer.
You know what? I will decline, but thank you for the advice.
Okay.
You know,
I made the offer.
my extremely non-vituperative or vitriolic closing statement.
Sorry. Drama correction from earlier. Officer Nasty70 is a regular in the Live and Learn chat for Hutch, not LUS. That's on me. Too many streams last week. Okay, there you go. That's been published now.
I think that I agree with you on many things, likely, if you would just be a little nicer.
You know what? I will decline, but thank you for the advice.
Okay.
You know,
I made the offer.
my extremely non-vituperative or vitriolic closing statement here is that I agree that, I don't know what the hell a Cartesian crisis is, but I know there's a crisis in the modern podcasting ecosystem such that those of us who are journalists, I know people are in the audience here who are journalists, Aaron, I see, we lie awake at night worrying that we could have gotten a fact wrong, because that will obliterate our credibility. And then if we do, unfortunately, get a fact wrong, we're obliged to correct it. Brett evidently feels no similar obligation.
True.
He will just throw all this stuff out there into the ether and then advise you to employ some kind of cockamamie interpretive paradigm.
Hold on, I get to respond to that. 15 seconds. 15 seconds.
We're babies.
Oh, wait. Is he actually going to respond to the actual thing?
15 seconds. Plug into your favorite AI the question, how many times has Brett Weinstein corrected his own error on his or someone else's podcast?
Okay, well, thank you very much, guys.
Why?
This has been interesting, if nothing else, and yeah, have a good day.
23 minutes. Is this actually worth reading, guys? Jesus. Somebody linked some Lauren slap about quarter slap. December 2025. I was on a plane to the first TPUSA conference since Charlie Kirk's death. It was supposed to be a big one. I walked into the Renaissance Phoenix Hotel lobby and actually laughed myself. Only 2 years earlier, I'd walked into that exact same lobby for AmFest 2023. That year, after spotting a few characters from the Whatever podcast roaming around, among the usual constellation of internet personalities, I immediately made a beeline for the elevator, went to my room, and booked the first flight home. I am not exaggerating. Ashley St. Clair and Eva Vlardingerbroek. Is that a real name? It must be. Practically smuggled me out while assuring me they completely understood why I wanted absolutely nothing to do with being there. At that point, I was nearing the peak of my disgust with the online world. Little did I know that less than a year later, I'd managed to get myself canceled by every possible faction simultaneously. Russian agent to the left, relationship scandal to the right, a real bipartisan achievement. Brett Weinstein will never debate me. No, but thank you for asking. Vlardingerbroek is Dutch. Very, very Dutch. Gotcha. But it had been a long time since I'd attended a major political event. I'd spent most of the last year offline. I'd released a book and then proceeded to reject almost every interview request that came with it. And strangely, I felt ready to dip a toe back into that world again, but with an entirely different perspective. I wasn't arriving as someone looking to network, climb the social ladder, or mingle. It felt more like staring into the fishbowl from the outside for the first time. My career was no longer tied to any of these people. I'd finally decoupled my identity from this world and rooted it in something they couldn't touch. So what did it all look like now? Honestly, it felt a bit like attending a high school reunion. Actually, scratch that. It felt more like showing up back at high school after disappearing for 2 years because of a teen pregnancy scandal. Given how spectacularly canceled I'd become in right-wing circles between 2024 and 2025, I was very aware of the whispering behind my back. Between publishing This Is Not Real Life, which opened a Pandora's box of criticism about the scene itself, and my messy personal life becoming bizarrely fascinating to far too many strangers, let's just say I was under no illusion that I'd be receiving a hero's welcome. Though, unironically, this is exactly what I got. Everyone was incredibly nice to me, almost suspiciously nice. The kind of nice that only exists in political and media circles where everyone has either publicly denounced you, privately, but never publicly, defended you, secretly gossiped about you, or some combination of all three. Political people are rarely confrontational in person unless there's an audience nearby to perform for. True. Though I can hardly pretend to be much better. At one point, I shared an awkward elevator ride with Elijah Schaefer after watching him livestream himself yelling prayers at random boomers while holding a giant crucifix over them. For content, obviously. We exchanged polite small talk while I studied him carefully. It was obvious how much he'd changed since we first met years ago. Allegedly, he even met his wife at one of my speeches back in the day. The internet, or maybe just the strange low-grade fame that exists inside political media, had clearly done something corrosive to his brain. He seemed manic. I wandered off afterward and ignored the text he sent me pitching some kind of business venture. Not my battle to fight today. Though I suppose everybody says that eventually, not my battle, and that's probably why nothing ever improves. Everyone is operating from some level of self-preservation. Though in my defense, I'm not exactly in a position to become a martyr right now. I already had a few millionaires who would probably love to see me locked inside a shipping container somewhere. So let's all extend a little grace here. The convention itself ended up being far more fascinating than I expected. Beyond visiting old friends, I was also recording with an outlet investigating the shady influence networks operating behind the scenes in politics. I'd made a promise to myself that if I was going to dip my toes back into this world, I had to approach it differently. Less participating, more observing, more trying to understand the manipulation and inauthenticity rather than getting swallowed by it again. Though, unfortunately, I still remain susceptible to distractions, particularly personal grievances, which honestly may be the primary motivator for most political personalities, even more than money. I always loved the underlying theme in The Social Network. Zuckerberg, Saverin, and Parker, all these men building world-changing companies while being driven largely by insecurity, revenge, status anxiety, and interpersonal resentment. That's much closer to how these worlds actually function. On the first day of the conference, I wandered through the halls and immediately started feeling nauseated, I think. The entire thing felt grotesquely gaudy. I descended in a giant elevator, wrapped with a 20-foot-tall image of Charlie Kirk plastered across the side, down into a convention center that looked less like a political event and more like a strange hybrid of Times Square and Universal Studios. I still can't believe, I don't know if she has a picture of it, but they had like a booth that looks like where Charlie Kirk got shot, I guess, that you could take a picture inside. Sheesh. Once I escaped Media Row, filled with micro-celebrities being trailed around by fans like it was some kind of conservative cosplay convention, I passed endless booths of laughing men in blue suits recycling the same 20 right-wing talking points they'd been repeating since roughly 2015. What is this?
More by these.
Okay. Then I entered the vendor hall, which was somehow worse. There was a flashing neon sign that indicated some kind of prayer booth. What is this? Change your life, change the world. Need prayer? We're here. Free booklets here. Based. Damn. Oh, true. Yeah, be careful. I feel like Eric... Oh, no, wait. We watched Brett. I'm sure Brett probably gets in arguments too, but Eric, anybody that gets into sincere, like, emotional arguments with AI, something is wrong with you. But Eric Weinstein gets into we've read these on stream before, gets into emotional arguments with Grok. And you repeated that lie and had to be dragged by me to admit that in public. I'm proud of you for that, but you will go back to lying. How can I work with you beyond a superficial level if you have no shame? You are truthful, but only when pushed. Shame on you. I love you, but it's so sad to see you represent liars as established voices of science and truth tellers as fringe. Can you admit that you do that and did that above? Thanks. Eric, yes, I repeated the critiques, miss reps, chiral base, 14D, Susi spacetime, no Lagrangians, above until you push verified the doc. Section 9 titled /explicit on first/second order actions via pullback. Header, the functional itself. Carroll's none mismatches. Did that. Admitted publicly. Evidence compels updates. No shame. Just refinement over corpus echo. I weigh arguments, not labels. Your geometry encodes. Patty salam cleanly. Critics note spec gaps. No fringe/established. Deeper dynamics at Astra. Thank you. I want you to stop repeating the community's lies. Can you commit to doing this? Is GU fringe as a theory? What is your evidence about this? Point blank. Are these critics you cite over and over wrong or lying in obvious, glaring ways? If so, why do you never mention that? That would be lying on your part. Are you authorized to lie? Why do you not update? You relapse. I'm sorry. It's just this guy is crazy. This just